The ulti's going to pop off from Oracle. Hook back in from Andros. Going to be charging up that epicenter. No one's getting out of here. That's 3 going down. Disruptor, he was de-warding. Look at the damage. Oracle buys back. Sweet as honey, says the big boy bear, and they are going to just crush your high ground from this. What a massive fight.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. LPL is back at you, Season 2 for 2020. This season is going to be bigger and better than ever. And you're still with your same casters, GTH Dota and the WanderingBard, but this time we're in high definition. How you got, man?
I'm doing great, GTH. It's a pleasure to be back here, of course, for the new season of the LPL Pro Dota 2 League. Always great to be looking forward so closely to good ANZ Dota. Of course, we did get to have a little bit more of a delay than we thought. Earlier in the night, our match 1 cancelled, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, one of the teams couldn't make it to the starters, but we've still got the second series for tonight, and it's still looking pretty good. Crossfire versus AGN, so that excitement is coming up.
Absolutely. But before we do, because this is, of course, the first night of play, let's go through very quickly the structure of this tournament.
It's looking pretty good right now because we've got the top 8 ANZ teams playing best of 2s for the next few weeks every Monday and Tuesday night. But to top it off, the top 2 teams in this league will be at a LAN final event to decide who's the grand champion for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a step up from previous seasons of the LPL. Everything on the line, high-stakes Dota, of course, with live LAN finals. And obviously, they're fighting for a share of an increased prize pool. First and second, taking home the lion's share of that. So that grand final, not just about the prestige, is the monetary incentive as well.
Yep, every single team going home with something, but that big $1,000 for first place, all teams, they're going to be fighting their hardest to get that crown.
Absolutely. And speaking of the teams fighting their hardest, who is going to be in our match tonight now, the only match for tonight?
Oh, yes.
Well, we've got AGN and Crossfire.
Some pretty new teams in the league tonight. Yep. AGN and Crossfire, FFY V2, a new team for this season. Eternal Discord, Oracle AU are back for this season. Sigma Legacy, unfortunately, we didn't get to see them in Game 1, but might be seeing them next week. Neat Uprising and Toons Reborn to finish it all off.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously some familiar names there from previous seasons, as well as some newcomers to challenge the defending champs. But we've got the veteran teams here tonight with Crossfire and AGN.
Exciting game to see. Top teams will be coming in. And we're excited to see them because these are titans.
Yes, these are big, big teams. Of course, if you're watching previous seasons of the LPL, you would know that because Crossfire versus AGN was one of our semi-finals last season, I believe.
It was. AGN did come out on top to go to the grand finals, which was insane.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to remind those of you who weren't tuned in last season to see that great victory by AGN, we're going to check out the names of the players right here. Of course, at Crossfire, we've got Tobes, Baosu, Reverie, Xavier, and Andros. We've been watching these guys play for seasons now. Their signature heroes is very familiar to us. All really strong players.
Very strong to see, but it's not to be undone. AGN, they're bringing it this season too. They've got Gamers Hard back, they've got Farnsworth back, they've got TCG, but this season they've got Dire Straits and Booty Loot to finish it all off. So their team looking pretty strong as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Booty Loot in particular being capable of really hard carrying games in the past, and Dire Straits, a newcomer to the LPL Pro League, but certainly a dark horse favourite for the mid lane, I believe.
So, with those the game series,
absolutely,
is looking pretty good tonight. Yeah.
Yes, it's looking fantastic. Of course, we're going to be seeing these teams clash for the first time in months. So, under the auspices of the LPL, this is set to be a red hot opener. Do you have a tip out of these two teams?
Oh, if I was to go for history, I would have said Crossfire, but then again, they're not the ones who made it to the grand final last season. So AGN might just be the favourites in this matchup.
That's true, yeah. At the last time we saw them, that was considered an upset victory, but perhaps it was just a changing of the guard moment, and we're going to see AGN reinforce that now.
Yeah, it's all exciting to see, and I am interested to see because AGN, they've got new players in it, new blood in it than last season, so maybe it could make their chances a little bit better because their last season, their earlier games, they were a little bit flaky on the quality. They couldn't really close off the game, so maybe this is when they bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. They were a sort of team, they really played on momentum, and they did get that big win in the back half of the season, but a more consistent LPL run from them would be great to see. So that all starts here. You know, day one of play is worth just as many points as the last game of the season. So there's no time really to start off cold. They have to be coming in aware of the patch, aware of the meta, and ready to do their best against a team like Crossfire.
And speaking of Crossfire, these guys do know their meta. They do know their lanes. They're basically the same squad we got to see last season. And these guys were almost undefeated the entire time. Only them and Neat Uprising were right at the top every single week.
Yeah, those two teams have been sort of the gold standard for the LPL Pro League for seasons now. But just looking over the roster of teams, obviously you don't get to see them all tonight. You have to wait till tomorrow to see some of the other 8 teams in store. But there are real challenges to their supremacy, even if AGN aren't able to make that next step up immediately.
Yeah, that is true. Team Oracle back to used to be a very strong in the season that we got to see them play. So they'll be bringing it pretty hardcore tomorrow night. I believe they've got the first game tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's a big one. If you haven't seen Team Oracle play before, if you haven't seen players like Godot or Exemistry before, I mean, I'm not sure how, in case you've only just discovered Australian Dota 2, but these are huge, huge, huge names, and they will certainly be setting the bar high in the LPL Pro League for this coming season.
All excited. I'm excited to see all the teams off because it's all important to play for. We've got a bigger prize pool. We've got an LAN event to finish it off right at the end. So this season, it's going to be big. It's just going to be big.
Absolutely. And we're about to kick off that season. If we can get the draft started very soon, we'll be in there. We've got picks and bans coming up. Do you anticipate that we'll see the current meta, because it is a very pronounced patch that we're on right now. It's a very mature patch as well, being quite figured out by the players at the highest echelon, all about pushing, all about necro books and summoned units and Nature's Prophet supports and Enigma off lanes and these sorts of things. And that's one thing that we know about this current patch. But on the other hand, the ANZ teams in the LPL Pro League have always loved their meta a little bit, their own signature heroes. They always try and bring them into the current patch. You know, things like the Baosu Ember Spirit, the Reverie OD, the Xavier Nyx, and Mirana. Do you think we're going to see more of those comfort picks in these early matches, or are we going to see some meta strategies?
I would say so. You would say by now we've figured out the meta, but every single time we say we've figured out the meta, right at the end of it, the teams just kind of figure out something completely new that gets so popular that forces them to change it. So maybe this is when, you know, Australia being a little bit different, they find a hero that nobody picks up and they're just first phasing that hero left and right, and it's just winning games.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I mean, they've certainly had enough time to experiment. It's as you say, obviously a team finds a meta early on, and once a team finds that groove, everyone else, when you're playing to win, it's easier to try and replicate a success you've already seen, that you've had the chance to deconstruct, rather than, you know, come up with something completely your own. But once the draft gets this deep into the patch, teams have had the time to kind of innovate a little bit more, even another layer on top of the meta, and maybe that's what we see here. Okay, well, speaking of those comfort heroes, first ban is Ember Spirit, so poor old Baosu, going to have to pick a different hero tonight.
Well, we do know what Baosu likes to play. What is it? Ember, Slark, Juggernaut, all these just typical carry things. So Baosu is kind of able to be banned, but that does mean the fact that you're not banning against the other players in Crossfire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the nature of Dota, right? Even with the number of bans steadily increasing, it seems, over the years, you never quite are able to ban out all of the heroes in the meta or all of the heroes of a particular team, unless, I don't know, they played one hero each. That'd be pretty sad. But that is not the case here. These are all very high caliber teams with very experienced players, wide hero pools available.
Oh yeah, plenty of flexibility. These guys know how to play basically everything, so you can't ban their entire hero pool. But their strategy-wise, well, it seems to be a bit more straightforward. Nyx Assassin being the second ban, so maybe a Batrider, a DP, who's been quite popular in many different Australian leagues right now. It's just going to be banned third, so we're just getting the top-tier picks of the meta right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems the kind of thing where the teams are just respecting the power of push in this meta. And there's the Lycan, maybe the most broken hero in Dota right now. If you're going to point to any hero and say that that's a little bit unbalanced, the Lycanthrope timings with that Necrobook are just crazy. Doesn't even need boots anymore. Buffs up all his summons, so it's not even as it used to be a case of just single target disabling the Lycanthrope. Easier to just disable him from the game altogether in the banning phase.
Fair enough. Safe way to play against it. You don't exactly want to counter the Lycan if you play. Well, I mean, you can counter it, but really, is it worth it with how powerful the hero is?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you don't want to take a gamble with. You can try and counterpick it, but there's no counterpick that's so certain or so reliable. You know, the hero moves very fast. He farms very fast as well. So if you're an inch off your timings or you don't play, a counterpick might run aground. So better to ban him out, as we see here. AGN now going down the list, banning out the Mars. You know, obviously a potent laner and team fighter, but maybe not quite as prominent a hero as some of the others we've just seen removed.
That is true. Still strong in himself. He is able to just hold everybody together. He's been quite good at setting up team fights. Maybe AGN, they're avoiding the, you know, the strength of Crossfire, which seems to be the team fights.
Yeah, not a lot to learn out of these early bans, other than that some heroes are very strong in this patch and teams don't want to play against them. But now we're going to start to see these strategies take more shape as AGN first picks Phoenix.
Yeah, Game Design's favorite. This man spams the hell out of Phoenix, but speaking of spammed heroes, Grimstroke will be picked up by Crossfire.
Yeah, both obviously quite strong. I'm assuming supports. Grimstroke, of course, very comfortable in the supporting roles. Phoenix can move around a little bit more, but lately has had a lot of success as a support on the current patch. So I'm assuming that's where we'll see it today.
10 seconds.
Fingers crossed. Grimstroke probably more of a safe pick here. Interesting to note, Tobes might be playing a new addition this season, at least for this game. So he might be picking up his old Grimstroke, which he is really strong on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tobes has a couple of those heroes he just has on lockdown. It's funny enough, obviously one of the best combos with Grimstroke is the Lich, and that's also a Tobes hero. So if they do go that direction, not that I really expect on this patch, might have to see him play both. But no, the Ricky pick.
A Basu favorite.
Basu's got a number of favorites, likes these sorts of flashy edgy carries, and Ricky has sort of morphed into one over the years. This didn't used to be the case, but now has all sorts of displacement, movement, command attack abilities that make him play a little bit like a budget Ember Spirit, so I can see that.
Fair enough. Makes him a little bit flexible, jumping in and off. Does actually silence up the Phoenix as well, so maybe the man doesn't actually get the egg off.
Yeah, it is another melee hero, though, and you can't blink strike to the egg, so it could pose a problem if the Phoenix is able to position correctly in the fights. Might have to pick a different counter for that. In the meantime, we see a puck come out for AGN. Now, is this sort of a mid-lane puck, maybe an off-lane puck if they're feeling daring? It seems early for a mid-pick.
It does, and it also seems a little bit scary because, yeah, Puck can hold down Ricky with the Dream Call, but then again, Ricky can jump onto the Puck and keep you away from silencing, phase shifting, getting away too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned the ability to silence the Phoenix, and that's pretty bad if you can't egg or fly, but Puck is a hero who is very commonly inserting themselves into the middle of the action, and if you're silenced and you can't use your spells, like, that is your life. That's your sole form of defense as a Puck. So quite vulnerable there, even if it might be one of those matchups that can go both ways. Obviously, Puck can blink on and disable the Rikimaru for his team, but the further bans from Crossfire, we see Void removed, as well as Treant being banned by AGN. Kind of different mindsets to the bans here.
But it's a very good carry, especially against TCG, who we know loves to play Void. Entire last season, the man dominated with his Void. Train Protect is a little bit more interesting, though. Is that meant to be specifically against something?
Well, that's what I was saying. I guess it's more maybe the idea that you're compensating for weaker lanes by picking the Treant. It's a very, very strong laning support. Obviously, auto attacks for the damage that some heroes' nukes do at level 1, but they pick up a different kind of laning support that's really a product of just this patch, Sniper.
Oh, man. Sniper's a support now. What's happening?
That's it. We've reached this age in Dota where Sniper is primarily a support hero, but I mean, why would you not pick it as a support hero right now? If you can get away with it in the offlane, and you easily can, there's a lot of heroes that can actually utilize that sort of constant harass as long as they have any sort of lane presence, and then that's just the sort of prelude to once you pick up that Aghanim Scepter, usually around 20 minutes or earlier if you're on a bit of a run, the game just turns nightmarish for your opponents.
It truly does, but one thing to say as well, you're still against the Puck. The man can just press E.
That's true, but you're with a Grimstroke, so you can potentially start double assassinating people. Also, while Puck can even dodge the assassinate, there's usually a few other heroes to shoot, and Puck can have some problems with the shrapnel, that constant, quite wide AoE damage. Obviously, Puck can move in and out of fights with the Orb or Blink Dagger, but that's not instant movement, and that doesn't have infinite cooldown. If you go in as a Puck to try and start, shifting in and out of your phase and dealing damage over time, you will have your health pool worn down, and that's not great.
Bristleback, though, that's a little bit different. Very good against the sniper, very good against the Ricky. Just a big man that sits there and tanks it all. I like the pick here.
Yeah, AGN's lineup seems well suited to battle what Crossfire are dealing out at the minute, if I'm being honest. That Crossfire have some pretty good sort of space control heroes. They can set up Ricky Cloud, they can set up Sniper Shrapnels, and keep their distance. But with the two of their heroes have movement abilities, and their third hero, Bristleback, kind of just shrugs off that sort of zone control. He walks through it, quite literally. He's just too tanky to really be bothered.
They have kind of left in the pool something that Rivery does play, and we all like to pick against the Bristleback. Viper is still there.
Yeah, obviously the ability to silence the puck eventually with your W is another really strong ability, but they go for a different kind of AoE control in the Axe pick.
It doesn't seem like the best. I mean, it's instant control for the Phoenix and the puck, and I guess Bristleback does face you, but do you like the Axe pick?
Can I say that I don't know if I like it yet? You often see Axe picked in response to particular carries, right? Like, that's usually the hero you most want to call, is their sort of safe lane carry, their physical damage dealer. So in this case, obviously you can use it to in a pinch, cut off the enemy initiators or support areas. If you do catch the puck, that's terrific, but the puck's going to be hard to catch. That's not the hero you're calling, and you don't want to call the Bristles, so...
So when does he really fit in? It's probably going to be just a final pick setup here, right? It seems like the draft is moving towards something.
Yeah, I mean, you do just need a front line, right? You've got Sniper and Ricky and Grimstroke, and none of those heroes are signing up to walk in and be the first person punched in the face. So with Axe, you've got a tanky, usually mobile with a Blink Dagger hero who actively wants to draw the aggression of the enemy, whether that's by taunting or simply walking into their midst. So that's just kind of like an essential element of their lineup, and Axe is always a strong hero. So we'll see whether it ends up being super effective against AGN's carry, but you'd think they'd pick around it at this point.
Well, they've got time, and they're really thinking about it. Down to 20 seconds in the reserve time. Is there anything that just jumps out at you here?
I think they're trying to work out how to lane this, right? Whatever you put as your carry is going to be laned against either Axe Grimstroke or Axe Sniper. I assume Axe Sniper, and that can be a pretty brutal lane. So they want, I was about to say, maybe a ranged hero, and Razor is both ranged and quite hard to bring down.
Yeah, very good against that Axe here, and we're just thinking it's just safe lane Razor here, right?
I'm imagining that it's safe lane Razor. I don't think you put in safe lane Bristleback, although you could if you thought that was a better laning matchup. Razor also pretty decent against the Ricky, as long as you get the link off before you get silenced or you aren't the target of the Cloud. To be fair, Razor's not a great person to target the Cloud.
Oh no, he's just going to sit there and hit you anyway, he doesn't care.
Exactly, but Ricky as a melee hero, it's hard to do your dirty work when you're having your attack damage drained off, and if you blink strike out, then you're wasting time and abilities.
Oh, interesting. They ban the Bane, thinking the puck is still just going to be their mid, and they're lacking a position 5 here.
I mean, given the rest of the heroes they've picked, it seems like they might want to puck mid. This looks like quite an early timing lineup. Like Bristleback and Razor as two of their cores, ostensibly, not going to scale terrifically into the late game. And then you assume Puck's the third core rather than this weird Puck Phoenix support duo. That seems pretty out of sorts. So, then it all kind of writes itself.
Fair enough, final bans. Here looks like we're probably going to be banning a Reverie here. It's no Lena, so no Lenas. They've left the Viper in the pool, interestingly enough.
Banning the Lena is to save the Phoenix, I think. If you have a Lena in the game, not only is that a pretty strong mid laner, but your egg is just going to be smashed every single fight by those super fast Fiery Assault auto attacks. One of the longest attack ranges in the game. You're already dealing with a sniper. You don't want a second counter to that Phoenix egg when it was your first pick, but you still want it to be effectual.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, 5 seconds for AGN. Their final pick is going to be the Tusk.
Ooh. Okay, so with that, this is a super aggressive lineup. Wow.
They're just going to be running down these lanes.
Yeah, all in on the first, no, I won't say like the first few minutes, because I don't know if there even is a lineup that's quite that all in Dota these days, but certainly a very aggressive team that's going to want to end the game before things really start to get too deep into it, but they will have the capacity to do so. The one thing I see lacking for AGN right now is like a real hard form of tower push, but they're just going to try and sort of tank their way through any sort of tower defense with Bristleback and Razor, it looks like.
I mean, that's a strategy. It should
Absolutely.
work. They don't exactly have the best ways to take down Bristleback yet, so what? Morana, Pretty Egg, Viper for the Bristle, where we're going?
Yeah, obviously if you get a form of break, that will help deal with the Bristleback, but I don't think you want to tunnel vision too hard on what is quite probably an off-lane Bristleback, like third position. So, and there's not really other great break targets on the team. I would like to see something maybe like a Necrophos that can cut down these really high HP heroes and help support the team. Because whoever you pick here, your mid, they're going to be like the number 2 target after Axe most likely. You almost want them to be, right? Because otherwise you have a very thin front line. So that's kind of, to me, a tanky hero that works well. Viper, also an option, as you keep pointing out. Still great, almost never not great. And there it is. It was that simple. You called it.
Wasn't science.
All right. Well, someone out there can keep score over the course of the season. I thought I was pretty hot stuff at predicting the picks last time around, but GTH, that was a great call, and it will be the Reverie Viper in our game here.
Well, what are you thinking? Is it going to be enough? Does the Viper really synergize Crossfire's draft, or is it just going to be that push and power, the fighting power that's coming up from AGN that brings it back to them?
I think I like Crossfire's draft. I think AGN, their lineup is certainly like hard to kill, and it's not that hard to execute, but I think this Phoenix is going to have a really hard time getting into the game, not just from the egg, but in the laning phase as well, and then I worry about their ability to push towers fast enough, right? Like, the Crossfire are able to sit behind the tower with the Scrimstroke, the Sniper, this Viper, and just wear away whoever is trying to punch it. And then you've got the brutal initiation of the Axe and the Ricky, potentially with an Inkswell stun backing it up. So I'm really not sure what AGN do about that.
Seems a little bit scary. Seems if the laning stage does crumble for AGN, maybe they're left without a paddle. Maybe it is just going to be Crossfire after that.
Yeah, I would say even more strongly, it's not just that AGN can't afford to crumble in the lanes, but they have to really win the lanes. At least 2 out of 3 lanes have to go strongly in AGN's favor for them to take the lead that they need to be aggressive enough and close this game out on time.
All right, well, I guess we'll find out in game 1 of this best of 2 between AGN and Crossfire to knock this tournament into gear, to bring the action to you in week 1 right now. Brought to us by one of our sponsors, Vodafone, and we'd always like to thank you for supporting us. Vodafone brings us great service, and we always like them bringing this tournament to you guys.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be able to be this kind of like new and improved LPL season without the support of our sponsors. So credit to them, but also there's not much time for that because we're about to launch our very first game of the season, GTH. I'm brimming with excitement as we see the players run out to contest the runes. Potentially the very first LPL blood about to be spilled.
That is right. 4 heroes top. Baosu getting the sit by himself bottom with Tobes hanging out. But the aggressive movement from AGN, we saw this from them last season. They like to bring out the 4-man starting lineup just to gank and secure these runes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these early kills don't mean quite as much as they used to, I don't think, in terms of the laning phase in total, but it can be a morale factor even in these pro games, and you certainly don't mind, especially as the mid, getting to ferry out an extra 100 gold or 2 worth of items.
Oh yeah, always gives you a good start, and you're always looking for good starts, especially in these drafts, but it seems as if Crossfire, they're waiting on the high ground just for AGN to move on up. So, no fights happening. Crossfire, they're backing out, they're giving up the runes because they can see Bouncer on the bottom, and Tobes able to claim the bottom 2 runes for themselves.
Yeah, you can see these teams dancing around each other right now. This is what comes with such a long rivalry. Both of these teams have featured in the LPL for several seasons now, and they know each other well. Here they come to grips, finally.
One through. Damage coming out. Reverie. First blood. Gamesard takes it. Maybe not even done. Andros, he's being chased down himself. Will go back behind the tower, but the first blood already AGN's. Fantastic start to them.
Yes, an insult to injury as Reverie gets tipped by practically the entire AGN team. On top of that, he was killed right at the very end of that sort of pre-game phase. He actually might have missed a creep or 2 there in the mid lane. Early advantage to the puck.
Always like that early advantage, especially since we've been pointing out these AGN needs a good start, and that is a good start. They just need to keep it going from here.
Yeah, I would not have expected that out of those 2 or 3 lanes I told them they needed to win, that it would be mid with Farnsworth gaining the advantage, but perhaps this can set them up. Perhaps that's the break that they need. We'll quickly see how these lanes start to sort out. It's worth noting, first blood on the Phoenix as well, a hero who doesn't always farm the greatest, so, you know, pretty welcome source for that early gold bonus.
Yeah, Farnsworth having a good time. Game Side's going to have some great items early on. It should be pointed out too, Xavier, he's playing in the off-lane role this game, so he's not playing position 4, at least for game 1 here.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I would have said that Xavier has probably been our support MVP for the last couple of seasons of the LPL Pro League, really excelling on all the different heroes. So I'm sure he'll do well in the offlane role as well, but interested to find out what prompted that change.
Might be just filling in here, but the lane situation seems to be a bit standard here. Bowsu's able to farm booty loots, not being pressured out too much, so it seems like they just want to let Bristleback do his thing, and as long as Bowsu is able to do his, they're happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that they're very happy to trade Ricky farm for Bristleback farm. The Ricky just both needs his first item more and tends to do more with the items. If you get that very early Diffusal Blade, that's going to be terrific. Similarly, if you just end up going for straight Agi, like a Yasha or something in a Manta style against the Silence of the Puck, I'm not certain what the item build's going to be.
One way though. Bowsu TPing out, Snowball the stop! Dire Straits gets him!
Wow, what happened there?
Guys, 2 kills for them. Top lane, not even done. Xavier getting chased out, getting burned by Games Hard, and TCG beating up both of them. These lanes are going good for AGN. It's a fantastic start to see.
Tell you what, we mentioned that we weren't sure whether that upset from last season represented a more permanent shift in the balance of power between these teams. And I mean, it's only the first 2 minutes of the season, but AGN are certainly stepping it up. How did the Rikimaru get killed under tower there?
He was going after the Bristleback. Turns out you don't go after the Bristleback.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I could have told you that, but I was trying to give Bowser some credit. He probably thought there was a kill, but, you know, it turned out it was on him, so tough luck there.
Oh, well, he'll get the gold back eventually, but, you know, it's looking pretty good. This is a good start that we want to see from AGN. Game starts getting some free pulls off in this lane. Looks like Andros isn't really keeping down this Razor as well. All things are going fantastically, except Rivery in the mid. 13-9 versus 3-3 on Farnsworth.
Yeah, that's actually kind of nuts. I saw that at the exact same time that you brought it up, and yeah, even after the early death on the Viper might have given the puck, you know, a small head start in the lane to try and at least set up the equilibrium. No dice at all. I mean, they were expected. No, Tobes is fine. Where's the ink swell?
He's fine. It's good. It's all good. He's got a little bit of sun out, so he's fine.
The lane is kind of under siege, though. Like, between the damage output of the Quill Spray from the Bristleback and, of course, that tag team out of the Tuskers, brutal spell in the early game. They are suffering a little bit. Not quite as much as Farnsworth's puck. That is a brutalizing. Coming out of Viper, it's expected in the matchup, but maybe not to this degree.
He's got
6
last hits now. It's looking better. Oh, no, Farnsworth
until
on
he
the tower,
goes into the tower. Revery's going in for
the
the kill.
No. So close. Can't get it. But does put a whole bunch of pressure on. Yeah, that's cool. Farnsworth actually has a self, so maybe this works out for the Viper here. For the puck here.
Farnsworth face shifting one of the auto attacks to try and keep the salve, just get immediately hit by the second auto attack. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. This game is hard now. Harassing Xavier's axe as he tries to creep skip. This is a very aggressive move by Xavier, but damage output out of Phoenix, not the highest. Seems safe enough.
No, he's going to be trying to man up onto Gamer's Hard. He's got the spins coming in, half HP. Got to be careful about how much damage he does take from Gamer's Hard, though. He's holding his fly.
Yeah, okay.
He does the call. He's taking his time for this.
The
All
battle
about
is still
hunger
applied.
versus the right click. He's got this.
Yeah. Very interesting. Xavier just not quite as tanky as he thought. Maybe this offlane role's unfamiliar, right? He doesn't usually play these heroes.
He's usually Gamer's Hard, chasing down, you know, the cores in the lane, ruining their game.
Yeah, okay, but now the boot is on the other foot, and he'll have to respawn in base and think about a different approach to this laning phase. Perhaps if a solo Phoenix is able to kill him. Bowsu flickering up to the high ground there with the tricks to trade to try and get the bounty and just teleports back to the tier 1.
Hey, it's nice he tried. He got the rune as well, so he's farming all right. 16-6, but then again, Bootaloo is having a fine game. Dire Straits isn't really beating it all. They're keeping the pressure on the Bowsu, and Ricky, not a hero who's known to come back from behind.
No, exactly. As we pointed out, his first item timing is so important, and he's not really behind right now in terms of being slowed down, but he is actually behind Booty Loot and CS, which is pretty incredible. This is their safe lane.
So, do you think the lane's going well enough to make up for this? Is Xavier's 19 last hits and Rivery's fantastic mid lane? Not to put anything against that. He's doing great in the mid lane. Is that enough to make space for this rookie?
I think it's certainly not like a game-losing deficit already. If the Ricky had like the pucks level of CS, that would be bad. But I think this is kind of where AGN need it to be. The game is going okay for them. They are winning their lanes like they needed to win them, and then they'll have the opportunity, some sort of window to push as a team.
Fair enough. TCG did go down in the top lane as well too. Andros and Xavier just collapsing around onto him. So they have got a kill in return. A big kill on the Razor. But game is hard. Dice Rates are going to be finding Xavier again in the jungle. Nice shots. It's going to be blocking off. And they're bringing in TCG for revenge. The taunt will come, but this man's taunting to his own death. And Xavier's out of here. Another kill for AGN.
Yeah, Tag Team and Static Link combining there, bringing down the Axe. Just when it looked like he had the advantage over the Phoenix was going to avenge his earlier death, the team come in. You can't fight next to that outpost if the enemy have teleports up. They can always come in to get you. So, I mean, it does pull the Tusk away from bottom lane, but Booty Loot doesn't really seem like he needs the help at the minute.
Oh, really? He's a back. He's going to hit creeps, and when you come close to him, he presses W and runs at you.
And we are kind of seeing a weakness of the Grimstroke support here, right? Because, like, it's good in a lane of more fragile heroes trying to, all-in fight each other. The Inkswell can be a very strong stun in that scenario. You have good long-range spells, so you yourself don't die, but...
They're going for Booty.
Oh!
They got the stun. Oh, the Quill Spray's adding up. We've got one charge on each side, but who dies? Yeah, Bowser, he has to back on up. Stroke of Faith, pretty good, but no kill on the Bristleback. The man survives to live another day, and that's a big commitment from the team on Crossfire there. They can't kill the Bristle.
Yeah, and I think that's the crux of this lane, really, and how it's going in favor of AGN right now, is this Booty Loot understands how tanky he is, and that these heroes can't really do anything about that right now, although that was a cool interaction between the Tricks, the Trade, and the Inkswell.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. He does exist for a couple seconds, but Topes, he's not going to exist at all. With Dire Straits chasing down, Basu trying to help on out. Maybe? Nope, can't juke it. Basu chasing too with the instant TP out from Dire Straits. He is out of here. No turn kill for Basu. Just feeding on Topes constantly. It's, man, he can't get dominance in this lane. That's what kind of Grimstroke's known about. Harassing out the off-laners in the position 4. He can't get a hold on.
No, just the hit and run attacks of this Tusk and the sheer tankiness of the Bristleback are kind of taking away the usual effectiveness we see, although this Phoenix, he will die if he gets caught out. Game Design has to be very careful of Basu here. Will Icarus dive back towards this tower? Seems like a lot of heroes in and out of this bottom lane for AGN.
Oh, yeah, courier. Oh, can you juke it? Can't really matter. Basu loses his courier. TCG doesn't lose his creeps. Seems like both teams, they have a hold of what they want to do on these games. There's no big rotations, but now they are trying to pressure up Basu at least. As the one hero they really want to shut down. In fact, they're just going to be trying to burn him down. Sunray's going to come in, and Stack Bristleback is too. Basu jumps behind the trees, but can you even keep the Bristleback back? Chance come in, not gonna find a single person, but who are we going for? Oh, okay, it's Tobes again. Hiding back behind, nice double stun. Rivery comes in, the turn is back the other way. Basu jumping in, the Trick to the Trader doing so much damage, and he's just gonna get them both instead. Oh, but it's not clean.
GTH?
They always just dive too far, but it's just Basu. You want to kill him. As soon as you see him there, you just want to chase him down, but it's just too hard of a commitment, and a Viper can instantly just press the TP. He doesn't care.
Oh, Basu now going to top lane. Does not slow down for a second. TCG.
Oh, who baits it? He's not
Basu not committing to that. He had 14 one charges. I'm really surprised he did not keep running for the... I mean, obviously his spells were on cooldown, but surely you chase for that.
Well, maybe, you just want to farm for a little bit. The power treads are still coming. The diffuse blade isn't close yet, so if there's a chance you could die, maybe it's a chance too far for Basu to take.
Yeah, Basu maybe just feeling the pressure he experienced at bottom lane, and that's causing him to be a little bit more circumspect than usual. Thankfully, the Axe and the Viper have done really, really well in this laning phase. Xavier eventually getting the best of that top lane, and we have to mention referee's Viper. He's just been farming this whole time, and as we saw, definitely the strongest hero on the map at the moment when he chooses to teleport in and finally join a fight.
Oh, bottom lane though. chasing down, everybody running back. Bristleback chasing down. Grimstroke has to TP out instantly. He's good and safe to go. But the one hero that's been feeling a little bit slow, actually Xavier, who's been killed twice, he's been able to get a little bit of farm back. Man's got a tranquil boost, he's worked towards the blink, he's got a little bit more regen than you expected, man, but then again, he's constantly being chased down by whatever hero is in his lane. Oh,
yeah, actually, if you see the mid lane,
he's being chased.
deployed.
Yeah, leash. Damage, they need more magical and physical, but the big Viper will die in the end, but he takes Gamer's Heart with him. That's what the poison does to you.
Yeah, poor Gamer's Heart on the Phoenix really suffering both from his own and the enemy spells there, but that is a trade you'll take every day of the week. Not just the enemy mid, but the strongest and most farmed hero on the map, dying for Crossfire, giving some of that gold lead back. Yeah,
has the most lances, has the most nice. He's the biggest, fattest hero on the map, so every single time you kill him, you're feeling good. But really, AGN, they're not feeling too bad themselves. All their heroes have at least some bit of farm. Maybe Puck's feeling a little bit less impactful than he is after that laning stage, but the man's got 3,000 gold. But speaking of which, Andros, on a sniper, has more gold than the Puck right now.
Yeah, we mentioned that this sniper support pick, it's a very greedy support pick because you depend so heavily on the Aghanim Scepter. You really don't have your full hero until you buy that item, which is, of course, 4,200 gold. It's a bit pricey for what a support would need to start playing the game, you know, twice a blink nearly. So they do have to dedicate some space for him to farm, and they are doing that so far. So the sniper plan is on track for Crossfire.
It's looking pretty good, making these nice rotations. Basu is at least getting a little bit of safe haven in the top lane, but they push that tier 1 tower top, but not to be outdone, they're pushing that tier 1 tower bottom at the same time, so towers look like they're going to be traded here.
Yeah, I mean, this is very common, obviously. Whenever one team pushes in Dota, it's a game of compromises, and if a team doesn't feel strong enough to defend, the easiest solution is just go and take a trade in kind. During the early game, there's lots of collateral to give up, and you'd almost rather get the money for yourself rather than try and fight and potentially lose.
And the items are coming. Interesting build from the Bristleback, but he's going Crimson Guard with some arcane boots. Looks like Farnsworth still trying to get some power treads on the board, so feeling a little bit rough in the side of the Puck. Yeah, it's a brutal game. You can see there even the Tusk now bodyguarding Farnsworth as he farms, but you cannot forcibly make your Puck get gold any quicker, so they just have to wait for him to catch up. Unless they just find me, but they dive on in. They find Farnsworth though. Bowser's going to get him in the back. River, he's actually losing all his damage again because CC is down. But the call from Xavier is going to keep him in place. He's just getting poisoned down. Doesn't matter about a right click on Viper. He's got poison. They have to actually evacuate right now. Tusk is running. The assassinate is coming and needs a little bit more damage. No, they don't. Just finish him off with a shot to the head. And 3 die for Bowser. Who's feeling pretty good about it. He just dived the backlines.
Yeah, absolutely. Basu only died there because he lost a lot of health diving the Puck, but he secures the kill on the Puck first, further crippling his game. Farnsworth just really can't get anything started. And then Basu forced the enemy to overcommit to eventually finish him off. He's the kind of player where he is not shy about dying as a position 1. Some players are very conservative on these sorts of heroes, but not Basu.
Oh, no, he's come up to be second top net worth after that little bit of a weird landing stage. And same with Xavier. The man got kicked out twice. He's just fighting with Bouncy for top position. It's looking amazing for Crossfire right now.
Yeah, we're seeing a really common story for teams that people have watched Crossfire and even Needs Uprising play in the LPL Pro League in previous seasons. Even when they have a rough start in the laning phase to some teams, eventually there's a slip up. AGN had that pretty disastrous fight under the bottom tier 1, and from there you see this better team like seize the game by the scruff of the neck and immediately establish a gold lead that they then steadily increase. That's what we're seeing right now. It's a dangerous time.
It seems like a very dangerous time. 5-man movements from AGN while Crossfire split up the map, but the smoke movement might be able to accomplish something back for these guys. It's a 4K gold lead they're fighting against, but what can they find? Because at the same point in time, it's just Rivery showing in the mid that they're circling around.
Yeah, they might have an inkling that the sniper is top. Oh.
They see him. They've gone for him. Snowball everything on River. He's got the blade mail. He's trying to burn it back, but they've actually got a soul one on the backside, but they've already got themselves the Viper. Egg is popping. They're happy with the kill. The assassinate is going to hit 2 of them, but Farnsworth can dodge 1 of them. And Tobes, he has to run on back, so they get themselves the Viper in the end. The smoke paid off.
Yeah, that was a really sort of team reviving kill, right? They got a huge kill on the Viper and no one died. So you run away out of that fight feeling great. You feel like you're back in the game and you're a contender again, which, you know, they were starting to become at risk of not being.
That is true. the gold lead was constantly, it seemed like it was going straight to Crossfire, but we're moving back a little bit. So it's back to 3K, something that they can handle. But then again, Baosu wasn't bothered by that fight at all. He spent the entire time bottom. He didn't even care about mid. He's just hitting creeps.
Well, I mean, Baosu did also die in the last fight, so perhaps Baosu's just trying to like hedge his bets and make sure he does get some creeps back in before he potentially dies a second time. That's the nature of these fights. Like we said, the AGN lineup is really strong in this team fighting part of the game. It's what the heroes excel at. It was sort of everything around that, the tower pushing after the team fights, the late game, should we get there? Those were the question marks, which we have not yet seen answered.
The one thing that should be said, AGN, they're not sitting back. They're not farming up items. They're moving as 5. They're putting the smokes out. They're keeping the pressure on. So they're not trying to rest here. They want to take control of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have to, right? That's absolutely what they have to do. So whenever we get the unpause, we're going to see them, I would assume, very soon group up again and just keep going at it. They don't really have an alternative. I don't think they win the farm game if they spread out and try and use the map, no matter how efficient they try to be. Some heroes just farm faster and use the items better than others. So if you identify that you're the team on that earlier timing, it is all on you to take that impetus and start taking objectives, start forcing fights on your terms.
Yeah, start using the egg, dream call, everything on one hero, and then feeling pretty great when you don't lose anyone in return.
I don't think we have seen that one aggressive dream coil on the Viper, if you want to count that as sort of gank on one hero, but we haven't yet managed to see Farnsworth get an initiation off in the fight, which just shows you how much this Pucks game was crushed by Reverie.
Yes, that laning stage was insane from Reverie. So many denies, so many last hits, and you pointed out right at the start, he died. They had a creep advantage on the side of Farnsworth, but it didn't matter to Reverie. He just brought it all back and destroyed the man.
No, and I mean, look, nothing against Farnsworth. Reverie is very likely the strongest mid player in this league and has been for some time, but it's always shocking to see him really go to work. And Androt's going to work now on Game is Harder.
Chasing down, Farnsworth actually not done. He heard what was speaking and he's diving on in. The man's playing aggressive. Xavier is trying to run himself. The call's going to keep Bristleback on you. There will be a stun, but can there be a kill? That's Sassay in the back. This Bristleback bit off more than he can chew, and he's going to get taken down. Baosu draining all his damage away. He's stunned, so he can't jump away from now, but the Trickster Trade will break it with the Raze, and Raze is trying to run back to the high ground. Sassay giving the vision. Xavier getting the call, and with the stroke of fate, do they have enough time to take down the big Raze man himself? He's battled hungry, but there's 4 people who are looking blood hungry right now as they chase down this Raze. Plasma Fields will slow, Ingswell will speed up, and with a little bit of venom, Andros, he's gonna take it.
Yeah, a huge fight there, and unfortunately for AGN, not the kind that they would have wanted. That is not going to put them in any better stead in this game going forward. They need to start turning these fights around.
Dire Straits actually going down as well, feeding another kill back to Crossfire. So it went to 3K for a couple seconds there, and then we unpaused, and now it's 5.
Yeah, AGN, I mean, it seems like one step forward, 2 steps back for them at the minute. They are trying to make some sort of foothold in the Radiant part of the map. But Crossfire, their heroes are not actually that much weaker than AGN's lineup in terms of early fighting. You know, Axe and Viper and Ricky and Grimstrike, these are all very strong heroes. This supports Sniper. I'm not sure where we're at on the Aghanims progress, but it must be coming along nicely. So I'm not sure where the AGN really have enough of an edge to bring themselves back into contention to take the game from here.
Do you think it's just 5-man fights constantly every single time you can now for AGN? Do they have any other options?
I don't know if they do. None of the heroes are flash farmers who have super mobility or creep clearing skills enough to split push lanes. And all of the heroes are kind of bad in 1vx fights, right? They get kited for the most part. Bristleback, Razor, these are very kiteable heroes. So only by going as 5 and combining their sort of presence and disable.
Oh, Bouncer.
Oh, can we get fights like this?
Dodge Dream Call. They're going to use the egg. No. They're chasing everything onto him. Dust is there. They're just going to be trying to get him down, but the man's still alive. Okay, there we go. They put him down.
Look, at least you killed him. At least you killed Baosu. That would have been an unmitigated disaster otherwise. But I guess that's all you're doing here now because you used all your ultimates, so you may as well turn around and go home.
Kind of. Maybe you have claimed the outpost, so maybe you can put some pressure on the tier 2. I don't know. Doesn't seem like big prizes that AGN are looking for. But Xavier, he's got a Blink Dagger coming. He's already almost got the Blade Mail on top. The man is looking fat, he's looking fit, and he's looking like he wants some kills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's going to be in a great position to get them now, armed with that Blink Dagger and with his team in the lead. This is the best time to be aggressive. And Xavier, we know that he can read the room. He knows what's up strategically in the game. So I wouldn't expect to have to wait much longer to see him do that.
Well, right now, he's got it picked up. He's moving to his team. We might see some action. I believe the Acceptor is almost up on the Sniper 2. Instant smoke out. Doesn't even wait for his courier to arrive. That's how much they want to take it down. There he is. He picks it up. Oh, they're just going to find Tusk. Looks like we got assassinated, a little bit of damage. Dire States is tanking the gank for the team, but I think you want that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you'd rather that than anything else, but AGN, you know, every kill you give up is still a kill, and I don't think they can really afford to give up too many more. I don't want to be an alarmist here, but we mentioned they have kind of this early mid-game timing, and we are not seeing it realized. They do not feel like the stronger team right now, and there are still tier 1 towers in 2 lanes.
That's true. I mean, like TCG hiding in trees, just looking for a little bit of farm that Reverie will give to him. Probably not a little bit comfortable if you are this Razor, who had a great laning stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the issue is translating that great laning phase into team fighting, right? You're a hero that inherently works best when you can get it out 1v1 with someone that, I mean, that looks like it's almost a situation here, but you can see the reinforcements are just on the high ground, and TCG probably knows that. How frustrating.
Oh, they found somebody. Assassinate's coming in. Charles on the backside gonna actually find himself totems again, but he's already got a soul bind off. He is done. Phoenix is changed, and he's just gonna go on down. The egg is coming down. Will they crack it? They're moving on back. Xavier's actually gonna hit it, but he turns his back. He changes his mind. This egg burst, but is it enough to get a kill? The Playmail's just murdering up the Phoenix. He gets cut down. Xavier's just doing it. Basu jumps in as a team wipe. It's just a team wipe.
Yeah. It looked like it hung in the balance there for just a moment, and then Xavier jumps in with the axe karate chop and destroys that Phoenix. And then suddenly it's all over by the shouting.
The Sunray into the Blade Mail is an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Maybe you need to buy a hood or even a BKB on the Phoenix to mitigate that, right? Because there's no way that Xavier doesn't activate that every time you go to use the skill from now.
It's Riverreel for Blade Mail, Xavier for Blade Mail, and if you line them up correctly, it means death.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention, there's other heroes who also can't really control their damage sources. It's not that effective against Bristleback, but against the Razor, if you try and static lead someone who has a Blade Mail, you are going to have a bad time as well.
Some real good itemization choices from Crossfire coming out of you.
Yeah, and they have the gold to continue making those itemization choices, as they are now up to 9,000 gold in the lead somehow at just 20 minutes.
18, 12, 20 minutes in, it's not looking like the end of the world for AGN, but they really need to make a move very soon, or it doesn't seem like it's going to get any easier.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely not, right? You never say never in Dota 2, but we can generalize a bit and say that these heroes do not have much of a chance going long, and we are starting to approach long. If they don't start making moves soon, obviously. They've still got about, I'd say, sort of 5 to 10 more minutes of being really competitive, but they need to, like, take the base in that time, so get a wriggle on, boys.
Yeah, there's a few towers in the way, but they'll crumble pretty fast. They've got a Blink Dagger done on Farnsworth now, so they've got some tools to make it work, but they just split up. And they're going to be finding the smoke from Crossfire. Maybe find Tobes here, but Andros is waiting. Bounce, has a DD on the side. Xavier, he's just trying to control the Bristleback, and I don't even think Dire Straits is going to be living through this. He just gets cut down himself. On the backside, Bounce has found booty loot and draining all the mana away from him, but it is a Bristleback. You need to fight closer, and there you go. Never Toxin Assassinate, he's gone too. The man's made of paper. And that's a double kill for Crossfire.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Viper Poison bubbling away, that Bristleback suddenly doesn't seem so tanky, and helps that 4 heroes are trying to hit him at once. So there we go. We know what it takes to kill Booty Loot now.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say the entire team, but, you know, it made it look fun.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of just piled onto this slow-moving, hapless snot goblin of a hero and eventually brought him to Earth. So, I mean, they can do that to him all the time if they're able to kill the rest of his team fast enough, and that's usually where the Bristleback hero kind of just has an irreparable weakness.
Well, at least we've got the respawns coming in, so no big towers taken yet by Crossfire. The bottom tier 1 tower looks like it's done for this world, but maybe this is a move AGN can make. They've got a TP point, they can get behind them, but they don't seem interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix is picking the top lane right now, which would be an idea, just like quickly get up there now and get a tower, but it seems to have been paid no heed.
Or maybe get a tier 1 mid. Maybe that little bit of gold is enough for you. Bring everybody down, force you to come through him. Farnsworth's in a pretty good position right now, but I don't think it's going to slow Crossfire.
Whoa.
They're actually going to be fighting Andros in the back. The Snowball's going to find it. Can they kill the old man himself? He's
so
fine.
deep.
No, he's dead. Diatrade's got it. The egg is coming out. They're not going to be able to break it yet. It is going to crack because Bowsu came in the end and got it. Farnsworth dead. Game is hard as dead. Dire Straits is dead. Xavier cutting them down to size. Another team wipe for Crossfire.
And the tipping begins. That was brutal to watch if you're an AGN fan, because they finally pulled the trigger on the kind of move we've been wanting to see from them, right? They got in deep under the enemy tower, got that initiation on the vulnerable enemy backliner and the sniper. Okay, he's a support, but he's a very farm support. So you don't mind getting the initiation, and then Bowsu comes in and it all goes wrong.
Yep, he does a lot of damage. Xavier's got a lot of control, and even if you get too low, Xavier's happy to finish you off. They just seem to be running right over AGN at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever want to call it too early, and the thing about Dota is it's very hard to be mathematically out of the game. It's often just comes down to morale and how cleanly the enemy team plays, how well people are able to improvise holdout strategies, but certainly you can't help but be demoralized after that fight.
Well, maybe they can bring something back here. Shards? Okay, it's Bowsu. They don't know he's there. Rivery's going to be there, but here's the surprise. There's your blade mail, but that's your burning come through. Maybe this fight you want. Farnsworth has been counting the entire time. Silence instantly couldn't get a spell off, and that just getting melted down. Farnsworth dead. Dire Straits dead. Rivery getting turned and killed, but booty loot being traded as well. Game is hard going. Another team wipe just cause. Oh, man. This game's looking pretty good.
Game to be a Phoenix right now. Yeah, Game is Hard's name has never been more apropos. He fires off the stun ray there. That one spell shot into 2 blade mails does about 80% of Phoenix's health when you consider that it also costs hit points to cast and maintain, and then gets literally one-shotted by the Mario Blink Strike backstab.
Looks like we're going to get a free set of racks. Maybe more. Can you really expel Crossfire from your base here?
I mean, AGN have preserved their buybacks, right? So it wasn't that they all did not have buyback there. They could have brought back on the clause and they didn't, which means they are, sacrificing this lane of racks to give them a chance at a decisive winning fight. But this would be their last one.
18k goal lead doesn't fill you with too much confidence, but really they're not staying stuck in their base. Sentry's being placed down, Bowsu jumping in, but Assassinate keeps him inside, the tricks of trade, but Snowball can save him in the end. Toad's gonna be there, Soulbite on 2, the egg is gonna be instantly popped, can Xavier break it though? Toad's just hitting so slow, the egg is still alive, the punch is there, but they get it again. Game as hard as gone, Xavier might finally go down, they've got a Dream Pool in the back, punch is doing massive damage to the back, Xavier finally dead. They've got himself Andrews too, but everybody else is just getting melted down, the buybacks coming in, Rivery, he's chasing down Farnsworth, Farnsworth does just get out by the skin of his teeth. It's a Viper, it's Bowsu, it's Tobes still here. Seems like they don't really need to leave this area.
Yeah, but they are leaving. I'm agreeing with you. I think they should just walk up the high ground, right? You got a full hit point Viper with a blade mail. These two heroes aren't going to do nothing to him, but Reverie chooses to play it safe. They are 20,000 gold ahead, so I guess you can afford to.
That is to get one buyback out. But right side, AGN save their others.
Yeah, they are unable to save all their heroes from Xavier there on the axe, and that's really disappointing. The fact that they can't even get away with a clean kill on him there.
Farnsworth playing aggressive, actually not going instantly back to base or running for the trees. He's hanging out. Gotta be careful.
I think he's trying to aggressively farm and cut crates.
Attention's gone elsewhere. Dire Straits has been found out, but Game's Hard going to be trying to save him, but Soulbite a little bit too late. They will get a toss, but they won't get anything in return. Dire Straits just looking like he's sacrificing his life at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Dire Straits also another player with a very apropos name at the moment. You wonder how all these AGN players get such pessimistic in-game names.
Just from the positive mental attitude.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh no,
so what do you do here for AGN?
He is gone. You try not to cry for this moment, and you think about game 2.
Sit in your base, try not to cry a lot. Alright, fair enough.
To be fair, Roche actually hasn't even been taking this game. Crossfire haven't really even cared about it. They've just been fighting constantly, doing what AGN wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite interesting to note that they didn't pull back at any point and sort of like claim their stake of that. But oh my god, they don't need to
the egg instantly popped out. They just destroy Farnsworth instantly. He buys back though. But can they save the egg? Is being broken again. Game style's gone. No buybacks. And Booty Luke, he is dead as well. Running on back. TCG is going to get Yule Safe to just save himself. But Dire Straits, he's dead too. Bastu jumps to him and Dwayne the bounce to somebody else. But he's going to get Dreamfield back for now. But it's on Puck. It's going to keep him there. TCG caught again. Farnsworth stuck in his base. Buyback on TCG to try and run there. But Bastu's in your base. Oh man, good game goal though. TCG chasing down Bastu in lanes, and this game is done. Absolutely done.
Yeah, it was well and truly done for sure there. No way to really continue and no point in dragging it out. So AGN bow out. They perhaps see where the holes in their draft were. I hope they did, ready to revise for game 2, but can only lick their wounds for the time being.
That is true, but yeah, if you're looking for mistakes, where do you think it is? Where was AGN short in their draft? We thought it was pretty good on paper. We knew there was that losing strategy, which inevitably happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to call it like a losing strategy outright, like it somehow couldn't work, but they did set themselves the very difficult task of not just winning lanes overall, but like winning them hard enough to carry a significant advantage into the sort of mid game and push hard during that time. In the end, they didn't quite win the lanes hard enough. I did say at one point they were going well, and then you just saw Xavier on the axe surge up from dying to the Phoenix basically solo to being the second richest hero on the map. That's a real problem.
Yeah, I thought Xavier was having a pretty hard game. I was like, oh man, they've just shut down his axe so hard. Oh god. It seems like Xavier's not comfortable in the offlane role. Oh god, 5 minutes later, top net worth.
Yeah, absolutely. And you when the axe is the top net worth, he's not going to carry the game for you completely, but he does have the power to deliver your carries, the heroes that they need to kill, and that's just what he did for the rest of the game. Set that tempo, set that pace. Xavier's always done that well, and turns out from the offlane he does the same.
Well, we'll find out if they can deliver it back in Game 2, because we've got Game 2 coming up after this short break. And we are back. It is Game 2 time between Crossfire and AGN. Both these teams are bringing to fight. Crossfire, still the high-quality team that we know and love, but still, AGN, they're changing it up. They're bringing a bit of a draft. They're making a little bit extra flair. So I'm excited to see what they can bring in Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. If you missed it just then, we saw a promising start from AGN. They picked themselves a kind of difficult lineup to execute, revolving around tanky heroes and just trying to sort of brute force control the map. They got off to that early lane momentum, but couldn't quite convert. And after a few very one-sided team fights, their hopes kind of faded, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, but they did socialize. They got some good first bloods. They got some good rotations. The lanes went pretty good. 2 out of 3. Pretty sweet. Happy to work with, but unfortunately, the mid-game to late game didn't seem to go their way.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. The 3 cores didn't really have a mid-game or late game between them. Also, you might end up questioning the Razor pick. It wasn't the best Razor game. They did wait a very long time on that pick, so maybe an area of the draft where they had a bit of difficulty and had to kind of compromise the best thing they could think of. But they do get another crack at it. We'll have the next game's draft coming up very soon, I'm sure, and we'll maybe see them bounce back. I believe in their last match, it was a best of 3 against Crossfire. They lost the first one and then came back to win 2-1, right?
That is true. The first game was a little bit, okay, Crossfire, they're bringing it at high performance, but then AGN, they came out of nowhere. They really just showed, it was like a 50-minute game, I believe. It was like a marathon. And the end team fights were just perfect from AGN.
It was really one of the favorite games I've ever maybe cast at all in this LPL Pro League. So hopefully we can see that same caliber of Dota as they rise up. Of course, tonight's match is only a best of 2, so they won't have the chance to take it all the way back. But even leveling the series would be good for their standings going forward against tough opposition like Crossfire. Of course, that is the tournament format is a round robin. So get this match out of the way early. Even a draw result might stand you in good stead.
Yeah, get some good scores with the highest rated teams in this league right now. Maybe the ones that are a little bit more new that we don't know how they're going to play, they might feel a little bit scared coming after you because you guys unseeded Crossfire.
Absolutely. And then, of course, assuming you make it to the finals, Crossfire, probably one of the stronger teams in the league, very likely to be one of your opponents down in the business end of things. So if they can keep up momentum, maybe have a consistent winning record against such a strong team, they've got to be confident.
Yeah, going into these weeks, and confidence is a big builder. Starting off strong means you're going to be finishing strong. And Crossfire, these guys, they've already started strong. They're basically the exact same team we saw last season. Reverie was playing amazingly mid. Baosu was just doing his carry role like we know Baosu does. But even Xavier, picking up into that off-lane role, he was really able to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier's just a quality player all round, so I'm not surprised that he managed to adapt. But I think it's also the nature of the offlaner he played as well. Playing Axe, very much a tempo, sort of kill-finding, pace-setting hero for the team. And that's what we see Xavier do normally, right? The sports he plays best, heroes like Nyx, Assassin, and Mirana, who do have that same playmaking potential. So perhaps in terms of playstyle, if not actual, fixed farm position, this is a hero that suits him.
Yeah, just able to make plays, and we know Xavier likes to make plays.
And the team makes plays great around him as well. I think that Crossfire are really just a terrific advert for what consistency can do for a Dota team. There's a lot of teams chop and change consistently, trying to make sure that they're always improving their lineup to have the best chance of success. But sometimes just doubling down with what you've got and becoming really comfortable with each other, forging your own play style, that's how you end up a team as strong as Crossfire is.
And it should be noted as well, Andros filling in that position role, he felt like part of the team. There was no real difference with a different position for him. He was just doing his job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the rest of the team works like such a great machine that it's sort of easy to just slot in the role left behind, as well as, again, these players in the scene all know each other pretty well after a while. So I'm sure they've played pubs together before. Some of them have probably played on teams together before. So not that difficult to, just for a little while, integrate one more player. As we head into game 2, we'll see whether they can redouble that performance.
Dire team back.
Yeah, they've got a lot to learn about, and it all does kind of start in the ban section here, because AGN, they focused their bans on Baosu last game, and it seems like they're starting off again, getting rid of the Ember.
Yeah, last time they tackled the Ember and then cracked into several of the meta pick heroes. These are the exact same bans as the game 1 draft so far.
Oh no.
Oh,
it's a replay,
okay,
but Ricky is gone. No, that's good.
Okay, Lycan band staying strong. Kind of glad, sorry to all the Lycan fans out there, I feel like I've seen enough of Lycan this patch, so I'm happy to be seeing something a little bit different out of this draft in Game 1 and now in Game 2, presumably.
It's still strong, man. And actually, Prophet, Witch Doctor, they're all strong heroes, so taking them out of the pool just means AGN, they can't pick those high meta heroes, which might help them overcome Crossfire here.
Yeah, exactly. That is one thing to say, is that obviously a hero like Lycan, who maybe just has a bit of an edge in terms of win rate on the rest of the cast, to have him banned out does favor the sort of theoretically stronger team in Crossfire, so maybe that's why they're stuck to their guns. Again, the exact same bans for them. Meanwhile, on the Dire, we've seen a willingness by AGN to target a bit more, banning out the Ricky and Tobes' Grimstroke from Game 1.
Interesting, they had a Nyx Assassin ban last game. Do you think they're really worried about Nyx Assassin this game?
I think I would be. Nyx Assassin is just such a strong all-round hero that it's sort of, there are heroes he specifically counters, but there's so many of them that it's hard to find where the carapace isn't good. And then, I just personally rate the hero very highly.
Well, it is very impactful. It does also ban out those heroes that you really don't want to play against. The Bat Riders, the Embers, I guess you've already banned it out, so it doesn't really matter too much on that point. So Nyx is always that flexible hero, but he is pretty weak in the laning stage.
It really depends who you lane him with, right? Like, people obviously rate Ogre Magi, and Nyx is not that much different in my opinion. You've got a tanky melee core with great stun, and the main difference is that Ogre has a secondary slowing nuke and better auto attack damage, so you're more able to harass people out of lane. But if shoving someone all the way out of lane or tangling with 2 heroes at a time isn't what you necessarily require, then Nyx can be a great kind of poor man's Ogre, with a completely different mid-game transition.
5 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Am I selling you, GTH?
A little bit. I'm buying what you're selling here. I might try it out, see if I can win. I'm on a bit of a losing streak, but speaking of a hero that doesn't really have a losing streak, Lich. Safe pickup for Crossfire, safe pickup for Tobes.
Yeah, we mentioned Game 1, after Grimstroke got picked, Tobes' other signature hero is a Lich. Well, this game, they banned out Grimstroke, Tobes picks Lich first. Nothing wrong with that. This hero is rock solid ever since he got that captivating gaze stun. Really rounded out the Lich's toolkit.
Seems really flexible, even if they have kind of changed the build away from the Frost Shield, just to be focusing on the Frost Blast and just kicking out the offlaner rather than just getting constant kills on the offlaner.
Yeah, absolutely. And depending on who you pair him with, the Lich can be really potent in a kill lane as well. So it's hard to have a bad lane with the Lich. I suppose you can say that the Captivating Gaze can be difficult to use against certain lineups. Similarly, the Chain Frost kind of asks your team to provide more disables to really make full use of it as a teamfight ultimate, but a very strong hero in any circumstance.
Dire team pick.
Speaking of first pick heroes, Clockwork.
Radiant team pick.
Different pickup, actually paired up with a DP. All right,
Okay.
that's a little bit different.
So, GTH,
like
is this a
flexibility.
support Death Prophet?
I want it to be. I want it to be. Oh man.
It could be a core Clockwork. I've come around on this Clockwork hero. I used to be a huge fan of the Clockworks that people like Jabs play, just like the hard
10
5
seconds
Clockwork.
remaining.
There's been some changes and some nerfs to primarily power cogs that made that a little bit less
5
strong.
seconds
In the
remaining.
meantime, you got this terrific new Aghanims, the Overclock. Have you seen that one in action?
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah.
double hook to stun yourself.
Yes,
You hurt
but
yourself to kill
you also get to run. Yes, and become hasted and attack quite quickly. And then suddenly this Clockwork hero who used to kind of dismissing after he initiates can actually really run down your backline. So interesting hero in terms of how you build it nowadays. Juggernaut, another hero who's gained a powerful Aghanims, picked up by Crossfire.
That's true.
10 seconds remaining.
Swift Slash, but it seems just to be a classic combination that we're all kind of
5
familiar with, the
seconds
Lich and the Jug. You can't really go wrong with those two.
Yeah, when I mentioned, in certain lanes, the Lich is a really strong kill lane, like, I'm not going to lie, this is what I was thinking of. You get that Juggernaut, Blade Fury, a classic, the most classic of kill lane skills, very potent level 1 nuke. Brooks, no argument, can't fight into it, the magic immunity too strong. And when you add the Lich slows on top of it, both the Frost Blast and the Frost Armor now can be used on the Spinning Jug. It's just impossible to escape.
It is, the man will just chase you down and cut you up, but the bans, they seem to be a little bit more flexible here. Undying's being taken out by Crossfire. On the other side, what do you think you want to target here? You've already seen the carry and the position 5. Do you need to shut down Xavier in the offlane, or is Reverie just too scary given those
10
matchups?
seconds remaining.
I'm really not sure what they do about Reverie because his lane mechanics are so strong that, I mean, we've very rarely seen Reverie lose a lane at all in LPL. So maybe you're best to focus on other areas. Treant is a good way to do that though. Like, you can sort of manage the mid lane even if it's going poorly with the living armor. I think it's important if Death Prophet is their mid pick to try and make sure they have push, but with the way this lineup's going, it seems like I'm not really sure what their lineup is because, again, they've got heroes that all peak very early, but
10
if they're
seconds
committed to a
remaining.
pushing lineup around a Death Prophet, they really need more, dare I say, more
5
push.
seconds remaining.
It's just the exorcism.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, maybe the exorcism is just meant to be the big center point and the surprises come from the sides here. But Crossfire, they still need to respond against the Strength Protector. They banned it game 1. They know that AGN likes it. It's a gamer's hard hero. He's able to perform pretty well on it. So how would you go down this Strength Protector if you are scared of it? Maybe Crossfire aren't worried this game. They've got a Jug and a Lich. Oh,
Well, yeah,
okay.
the way that you fight a Treant Protector is probably to neutralize the laning phase. So against the Lich Juggernaut, that's already quite a decent lane. It's pretty hard for Treant Protector to kill that, but Spirit Breaker makes it even more dangerous. If that Treant ends up in a dangerous position, as Treant is wont to do, obviously the hero kind of baits you into walking very deep behind enemy lines. Barathrum can run you down with the
10
cross-map
seconds
charge.
remaining.
Well, that's true, but one thing that should be pointed out again is Clockwork's
5
pretty good against
seconds
Barra.
remaining.
If he sees him coming, he just has to put the cogs out.
I was about to make the same point myself. Yeah, they're 2 out of 3 of these heroes. The Treant Protectors are also quite decent against the SB when you're not the person being charged, when you are with your allies, because that snap route has such a wide radius, and of course the Treant is quite tanky besides. Even DP very often goes a Yield Scepter, which is one of the better early game items, an instant cast disable to break up that Spirit Breaker charge, or even the ultimate cast. So, an interesting sort of mid-draft pick.
It's been a solid hero, but still, AGN do have answers for it. But right now, we're looking for the off lane or the safe lane answer for AGN here. 40 seconds here. You've seen a Jug. Do you want to out carry the Jug, or are you just going to be working to that pushing draft that you're talking about?
I mean, I've been talking about how Clockwork's late game scaling got a bit better with the addition of this Ags, but I still think you want to try and go early, maybe go under this Juggernaut. He does feel a bit weaker nowadays, and then he needs to get those like 2 or 3 items up to really do very much. So I wouldn't mind seeing like a Drow pick I think that could be quite strong. You just want another hero that can take advantage of the huge front line you've got right now. And, okay, they go with the Spectre instead, so never mind. We are going late, it looks like, potentially.
Well, it's always good to have an insurance policy when your first plan doesn't go well, and game 1 was kind of that no insurance policy draft.
I don't know though. When you're committing to the early game, can you afford to have an insurance policy when it weakens your plan A? Surely it's better to be a master of one plan. Just go all
rather
in.
than kind of right at everything. I mean, Spectres can build Necronomicons these days, and that's a pretty good item.
Every hero builds a Necronomicon these days.
God damn it.
It does. You're right, though. Spectre can build more aggressively. You can build Diffusal Blades. You can build, like, early Blade Mails. There's all sorts of things you can technically do on this hero. I just question why you would necessarily pick it if you weren't going to, go for the traditional Radiance pick. Viper does also further discourage this Spectre, as well as, like, the Clockwork. You're going to turn this man's cogs into his own prison with that Nether Toxin. Maybe the plan here is position 5 Spectre, and you pick a different carry. No comment. I would almost buy, like, position 2 or 3 Spectre, but position 5, what's Treant playing?
You max Dagger, you put Dispersion, you waste time of the offlane. Now, he's just chasing down Spectre, thinking that he's doing things, but no, he's just wasting the time, and you just get a different carries hit into creeps. And he's not shut down, he probably doesn't have any passives, and he could outcarry the game.
I feel like people have smuggled a lot of carry heroes into the support role over the years in Dota 2, but if Spectre ever shows up as a legitimate tier 1 support, the game might actually be done. This is a one-position Spectre, take no doubts.
He could buy an Ags, with 4,200 gold, haunt to the enemy carry, drop all his items, destroy him because it's a pretty trash item.
10 seconds remaining.
I was wondering where you were going with that. Yeah, Spectre has one of those. A lot of heroes have Aghanims, Heptas these days that are kind of just there in case you happen to pick up the buff from Roshan, or maybe your team has a very wealthy and generous alchemist, but you are never buying that item, and Spectre is one of those, I would say. The mini haunt, not that popular.
Well, just to say hey.
So, a poor sequel to the mini Omni Slash.
Mini. It's got a tiny sword.
Sword is kind of small.
Where are we banning?
Okay, well, it looks like we're banning Quap. I was delaying having answer because I wasn't sure, but they ban out the Quap, removing that. That's been pretty potent for multiple different teams across the duration of this patch, so fair enough.
Well, final pick to go for Crossfire here. Do you think, are they missing something? Could you work a Darkseer in here just to get a combination with the Breaker? Or, okay, Bat Rider.
Well, this lineup is so single target heavy, which is interesting, but I guess right now they can just mostly ignore DP, Treant and Clockwork. If they kill DP and Spectre, that's the team fight. You got like a Troll or something?
You may now select
Lina.
Wait. Where are we fitting these heroes? Right?
There's like offlane Death Prophet?
Yeah, offlane DP, yeah. There you go.
They switched it up last minute. I mean, when you pick the DP second, something was up, right? Like, you're not second picking your mid into Reverie. But eventually Crossfire committed. They just put Reverie back on the safe Viper, and I guess Farnsworth likes the Lina matchup?
Fair enough. It might work out. You get extra range to get away, at least from the right clicks of the Viper, so maybe that is enough. They did ban it out last game.
Lina smashes a lot of heroes, and I can see how you're advantaged here. I'm a bit worried about the poison skin, but she's going to do better than most heroes against that Viper, no doubt. Good enough to win the game, though, for AGN?
Yeah. Do you think they have it? They've got late game, potentially.
That is true, and Crossfire's lineup is weird. It's a weird kind of draft. I don't know how to feel, even though I love Spirit Breaker. I do love Treant Protector as well, but look, I'm going to say Crossfire. I think this Spectre pick is so odd to me. I really don't get it. Look, TCG, maybe you asked for it. Maybe you did the How hand cutter, give me Spectre on pain of death. I will farm and carry this game. But it certainly seems at odds with this Death Prophet pick, even out of the offlane, right? You got one hero who wants to push early, carry the tempo, end the game before your ultimate becomes relevant. Another hero that typically farms for 25 minutes straight. So what's it going to be?
Maybe. Well, it's going to be game 2 between Crossfire and AGN. First round of this round robin. These points are all important, so hey, maybe a little bit of flexibility is going to bring AGN over the board, because Crossfire, they've got those heroes that they're very comfortable on, so maybe it's the craziness that puts AGN on top.
Absolutely. It's going to be an explosive conclusion either way to this first series of the LPL Pro League. It's already been a great night so far, and we're just so happy to be here thanks to our sponsors, including the New Zealand Defence Force, recruiting for all roles, Army, Navy and Air Force, over at defencecareers.mil.nz. If you've got time to check that out, you might have a few seconds, but don't go there for too long. So we're going to have a first blood, if any signs likely, before the runes even spawn.
That is true. 3 heroes, the hallmark of AGN, really aggressive rune positionings from them. Just trying to chase them out, but speaking of which, Bowsu's already seen it. They brought Tobes here, and for a surprise, a Spirit Breaker already charging in straight to booty loot. Tobes being separate. They've actually separated their attention. Who dies first? Lich or DP? It's gonna be Tobes, but they will claim booty loot as a trade. Bowsu getting control between 2. They're sharing the cogs, and Rivery has come down to try to poison Dire Straits, but I think we've got somebody sacrificing a life. No, Gamerson's fine. He's just hitting Bowsu. He's just hitting Bowsu.
Yeah. He's the bear of the treats, got all the venom on, and this charge is going to knock him into the Juggernaut. Bowsu gets the salvo.
Cogs, back in regen. He's in the trees, but Gamerson's going to find him. Gets the kill on Bowsu. But this is kind of identical to last game, though.
Yeah, I would argue it's even a little bit better, but I mean, it's certainly, like I said, not the most impactful kills, except for morale and maybe making a statement. Gamersson really had a tough time, got victimized on that Phoenix last game. This game walks out there as the Treant, big buff man, level 1, hammering down the enemy carry. I think he got both kills there, right?
Yep, I believe he did. So that's a fantastic start for Gamersson. Man, he loves gold. He loves being able to do stuff from game one. That was one of the things that Phoenix was lacking last game. So maybe with items, he can have a bigger impact this game.
Yeah, you think we might see that classic Meteor Hammer, split pushing Treant? That would be one way to beef up the Death Prophet aspect of the lineup.
That's true. And you can always have one lane pushed out. So Crossfire always need to put their attention on the Treant Protector.
Yeah, they've got the cross-map charge of the Barothrum, but the one weakness of Crossfire really is their creep clear. Like, a couple of their heroes sort of struggle to really nuke down creep waves, so maybe by putting pressure on multiple lanes at once, that's how AGN can eke out an advantage this game.
But Gamersson did go top to support up TCG. They're not going to leave him alone here against Xavier's Batrider, who is playing pretty aggressive. And is this a Batrider favored lane anyway?
I think most lanes are Batrider favored lanes as long as you have a support, and Barothrum is a great choice to support the Bat. Obviously, Bat excels at kind of pressuring people out of lane over time, just applying the sticky napalm. It's very hard to avoid, and at some point, like sort of 5 or 6 stacks, you kind of have to start considering leaving the lane area for a little while, lest you die. Normally, you combat this by going all in on the Batrider and trying to bully him out before he can build up his stacks, but it's very difficult to all in around Andros. He's just big lumper, hit points and stun.
Oh, bottom lane though, going straight for booty loot, instant TP out, but can he get a kill? No, but they send him all the way back to base. Still a little bit of damage to Bowser, but he's happy with that trade. Booty loot has to walk all the way back here.
Oh,
and die
straight. Wow.
He might even survive too. Oh, they're just taking cold gold, it's all good.
Once by the jug and blasted and almost dropped dead on the spot as level 2 clockwork. But does survive.
That's good. Both heroes did survive there, but top lane too, they're playing aggressive. Just as you said, chase down Xavier, but Andros is just gonna find them in the back, burn down the big tree man, and they don't get a kill for their troubles.
The game is hard. From pretty amateur courier micro there, kind of just had it walk straight past Andros to deliver to him, wasn't controlling it at all. The Spirit Breaker just takes the free courier money as we jump into the Battle Pass playground for a hot minute.
I like the Battle Pass playground.
Xavier's trying to fix something up. I like everything except the squeaking Meepo mini game. That one can get a little bit on the nose after a few minutes, but
yeah, I realize how slow I am when I play that. I can never get it. Just literally never get it. There's one kid that's always beating me every single time. I don't know how he does it. He gets all 10.
I assume just an auto-clicker script. That's what I tell myself, really.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
It's definitely not that just the slowest old man on Dota 2.
Yeah, maybe. Sometime I'm going to accept that. I don't know. I'll practice it. I'll pause the games intentionally just to practice my Meepo.
Yeah. Get in the Dota 2 Meepo practice mode. But in the meantime, how are these teams actually traveling so far in the landing phase? Obviously early days, but it seems like AGN are at least looking all right. Still, that's how they started last game, and we know how that ended.
Yeah, they might need to do something a little bit differently because their aggression before didn't really pay off, at least in the top lane. Andros did stop it just exactly as you said. And in the bottom lane, DP got sent all the way back. Clockwork couldn't stop it, and Bowser's back to farming.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've been an advocate for this DP hero in unusual positions, but I'm not. I really think it's the kind of hero that values being in a lane by itself and getting a golden experience advantage out of that. And once you move it out of that situation, I don't know if it's still worth picking. I'm not saying it can't be good. It's like the Spectre. There's a reason these heroes are known for such a specialized, specific game plan. It's not that you can't play them other ways. There's a lot of carry heroes in Dota, a lot of mid heroes and offlane heroes in Dota. If you aren't going to play the DP game with your DP, then why not pick... I can't remember if it was banned this time, but why not pick a Mars? Why not pick a Centaur? Why not pick something else kicking heal towers?
Centaur. The one thing that seems to be a surprise is they are picking up very aura-based heroes while allowing Rivery to play his comfort heroes in the draft. Both games, they didn't really care about the fact that they picked a Spectre when Rivery could pick a Viper. They just seem to be relying on the power of their heroes on AGN.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's because these are like pocket drafts that AGN have figured out beforehand and they're sort of not comfortable deviating too much from them, so they're just going to pick their Spectre and hope for the best. This time, at least, they had the opportunity to last pick a mid-hero to try and counteract the Reverie Viper pick, so maybe they weren't as afraid about running into it headlong in the second game, but, I mean, I would be very scared of Reverie. Not saying the rest of the team aren't a threat, but I would be very wary of giving him any sort of good matchup in the mid lane when he's already threatening to dominate you in an even matchup.
He's already winning. 300 golds to Reverie already, ahead of the Lina.
Yeah, exactly.
Scary.
But maybe AGN can win the other lanes. They did manage to last game. That was how they got off to a decent start. Unfortunately, they are currently down across the
Andros,
board.
he charges into Spectre though. Looks like he's gonna go down between him. It's gonna take a while, but yeah, Game is Hard does take it. Another kill for the victory. But Booty Loot at the bottom time, he's actually finding up with Bouncer. They've got Clockwork coming in just to try and cold him, but he's bringing in some creeps. Gotta be careful, but Game is Hard. He's being burnt down by Xavier at the same point of time. So True Protector's gonna be trading. TCG, what are you doing? You can't save the man, so now you got 5 stacks on yourself. And with Xavier doing it the old-fashioned way, he's gonna take you down too. Double kill for the bat, and no kill for you, bottom.
I'm really interested. Were they just not able to catch up to the Juggernaut there? Because that looked like the perfect setup. You've got the Spirit Siphon running and your Clockwork closing in for the cogs, and then there just no kill happened.
The Juggernaut things. He likes to spin.
Yep. And
Farnsworth going mid though, maybe. Maybe to help Farnsworth here, who is having
out of Fana right now. And 8 and 6 against 15 and 11. This Reverie Viper running away with it again after getting 10th pick counterpicked.
That is not feeling good, and looks like even Clock's not getting anything, but TCG Topper, he's just farming creeps with his dagger, while Bowser's chasing again, who's been left by himself. So DP, is she going to be sent back up? No, she just survives, but then the pressure's top. They're finding Game is Hard too. Xavier's just chasing down, using herself to save him for a couple seconds, but no, she can't save a tree. He's made out of wood, and Batrider's got the fight.
Once again, Xavier finds an opening. We mentioned this is not his normal role and he might lack comfort, but you honestly couldn't tell to look at him. He's playing these off lanes great right now, constantly scrapping and brawling and taking every little advantage provided him to tighten the screws on the AGN safe lane.
It is true, but speaking of tighten screws, Baosu, top net worth, no regen though, if that's a small win that you got to take out of it, but somebody who's really feeling a little bit lost is that DP. Booty Loot's got 10 last hits, at least he gets the runes with Dire Straits stealing the bottom ones, but this lane isn't going great, and it was, as you're pointing out, one of the weirder lanes. Do you think it can recover from this?
I don't know. You mentioned last game that there's heroes you don't really like to be coming back from behind on. And you mentioned Ricky in that scenario, but I would say that DP is like top 5 worst heroes to try and come back into a game of Dota on after a bad start. Heroes just so dependent on its ults all doing something, and yeah, right now a lot of teleporting out of lane happening for AGN. That is a serious problem economically because of how long it takes to walk back. I hope they're all right.
Yep. Farnsworth gets kicked out, Bootaloo gets kicked out, TCG hasn't been kicked out, but then again, the man's been killed, and maybe now they can get him bottom. Toe's gonna go nice cogs onto. GameStar's trying to get involved, but he can't really do it. Bootaloo's training with Spirit Siphon, but Andros is already here. They've got himself Toes. Dire Straits trying to survive with this, but they got a kill. They got the Lich. Something on the board. Xavier didn't kill TCG at the same point in time, so we have one good story now. Thank God. Somebody survives the top lane when they're on the bottom.
Oh, you spoke too soon, you cursed it.
Now,
Okay, now hang on.
Woo.
Wow.
They did it.
How did that happen?
They got
Okay.
him.
I mean, that's the power of treant for you. I'm just going to dismiss this as a treant kill. But yeah, I would have thought Bowser's spin would really get him out of almost all of this danger, barring getting cogs. And even then, you can spin and hit the cogs. But apparently not good enough there. And Crossfire do drop a couple of kills. Not quite putting AGN back in the ascendancy, but close to it.
GameStar playing around with Andros, who's gonna let him take it this time when he sees Dire Straits there. But then again, 6 minutes in, I don't think you're gonna be able to keep that for too long, but at least you're making space.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy commitment for an outpost that's not going to yield up any XP for a full 3 minutes from now in enemy territory, but whatever floats your boat. They're going to rotate towards mid now.
It would be a good time. Farnsworth has recovered a little bit, has 24 last hits now, so a big kill on Reverie would recover completely, because there still is an 800 gold difference between the two heroes here.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see what Reverie builds into. Oh.
Chasing everybody down. They're going to find Bowser again, but they're going to be blasting down Dire Straits, trying to kill the cog. Nice little charge through for Andros, gets him stuck in the cog, but they're going to be able to kill the clockwork anyway. Bootaloo draining too, but there's so far no kills left found Bowser, but the damage is going to be drained up with the Frost Shield, but it's the physical damage coming out from GameStar. It will be able to finish off Bowser, but can he survive? He's good. He's good. He's out. They've got the Juggernaut again. So they keep him shut down, but Xavier trying to pressure up the spec, can't do it. So they got the carry and they save theirs.
Game is hard, you know, really really living up to the name once again in this game. Sorry, as we see top lane.
Oh no, TCG! I say he's survived
Not
for a couple
again,
seconds.
TCG, no!
That's right, he's getting to 8 blocked by creeps. He can't get past the creeps. They're trying to run back. Bowser's going to TP bottom, but he can't actually get anything out of it. Maybe if Bootaloo is by himself, they can go for it, but Xavier, absolutely fine. He's got the movement speed, attention. He's all good to go, so they get nothing in return there.
And Xavier just has TCG's number tonight. This poor safe laner is just dying to this off-lane menace that Xavier has morphed into all of a sudden. I wonder whether this is a new permanent role with these kinds of performances.
It seems like, yeah, he's pretty comfortable on it. He's not real change after, you know, maybe a couple little miships. He's just fallen on in. So nice new pair of socks.
Yeah, not bad at all. Meanwhile, the tree and protector pick is doing its job down bottom, but I'm just not sure what it's covering for, right? Like this Death Prophet hero scales up quite slowly when it's not in the mid lane, and you know we've seen a few deaths as well. That's not going to pace anything up as well. So I guess maybe you're already starting to look towards the Spectre now, but you're also not protecting it with anything. So
and it's not farming too well anyway. It's still 2,500. Bowser's got more farm than that, so you're not even shutting down the jug too hard.
Again, I'm really waiting to understand the AGN draft.
Bootaloo is going to be targeted again, but I cancel the charge instantly as soon as I see the clock. So not going to go for that. No kills yet for Crossfire. They still are keeping the pressure on. This Spirit Breaker, though, he hasn't felt too impactful. He's not been leading the charge. He's kind of been responding to AGN.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's already a couple of heroes on AGN that kind of can counter him a little bit or can cancel his charge easily, so playing reactively is one way to get around wasting time doing that, but also you see 2 points up in Greater Bash. Andros is really just valuing his lane presence at the moment with this skill build.
Level 3 trying to claim up this bottom outpost because they've got 10 seconds to do it, but here we go. Who are we charging? Instant cancel. DP wants to fight. Already got the X's and popped out, so this Shrine is going to be there. Bowser coming in. They've got River coming to the break. The Viper Strike. The Omni Slash. It's enough. Bootaloo is dead. Viper will just survive. Dire Straits. He's getting chased down and he's going to be cut down by the Jug himself. Rune's already going to be taken. Farnsworth does finish off the Viper with a little bit of revenge from that laning stage, but the kills, is it worth it? You lost Reverie, but you lost 3 of your heroes, including the Spec, who haunted down.
Yikes. That's all I have to say about that one, really. Oh, AGN.
Bowser's not done. Bowser's just hanging around the mid lane. He doesn't have Omni Slash. He's just there.
Yeah. And with that, Omni Slash have to be a little bit careful. Wow, just teleporting out right in the Batrider's face. No respect shown at all to Xavier, but I'm sure Xavier doesn't care. He's actually the top net worth in the entire game as off lane Batrider currently.
That should do.
That's an achievement.
He's had the safest lane by himself too. They've just let him. They haven't pressured him. They're like, okay, Bowser's everything. Xavier can do what he wants.
Sure, I'm going to choose to still recognize it as an achievement. You know, that's not something you see out of an offlane Batrider every single day. Now it's like, how does he put that to use? What items do you buy?
Seems blink dagger instantly. It's all about that mobility and initiation.
I mean, it's very difficult to fault that, right? That's what most people buy.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great item. I'm not sure I see bats avoid blink dagger if they can.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on. Do you keep this way?
It was the bait! They got baited! Double kill! Tips coming out too, so Bowser knew what he was doing.
I looked at that and I finally saw Bowser standing in a range where you could cogs him and really set up, and I thought, oh, this is terrific. And then, of course, the Chain Frost rolls in from the bottom of the screen, taking them out like that. Brutal stuff.
It's just one hell of initiation, especially since, you know, Spirit Breaker will just charge on through whatever your initiation is, and their draft kind of just masses around one hero. And Spirit Breaker loves that.
Yeah, absolutely. Spirit Breaker, like an autonomous tank, really doesn't need any sort of support, can take heroes out or set them up for your team to punish. So as long as the rest of your team has a strong formation, it's basically a good Spirit Breaker game, and that's what we've got here.
Oh, Batrider.
Pages does not stop for AGN.
Oh, even Andros came down bottom too. Blame out means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Another kill. 12-8 already. 5k gold lead. And we're only 12 minutes in.
Yeah, this is even more brutal than game one. The super fast tempo being played by Crossfire now is something else. So many heroes with ganking potential or killing potential, and they are just constantly able to find chances to use these skills, right? Like, how many ultimates have we just seen in a row there?
Quite a few. Constantly, as soon as it's up, we got what, Lasso, we had the Never Strike before coming out from Andros. It seems like, what can AGN do? It seems like they need to find, but can they?
I mean, at least like you said, this time, this is where I'll side with you now and say that they have the Spectre at least. They can always just transition to a 5 Protect 1 and just try to make space for the Spec. I just can't remember the last time I saw that kind of strategy win an actual competitive game.
Oh, they're going to be trying to something. Omnislash coming out. Trent's actually going to get himself the Overgrowth. Going to be burning down a little bit extra damage. They've got himself toes over a free still standing strong on Farnsworth. He's got a physical and Bowser. He can't make it out either. Make it a triple, and Xavier's running back himself. He can't even find an opening. His game's done. That's it.
Wow.
Trent to get 3.
Okay.
Hell yeah. That's how you do it.
That was a really interesting fight. 2 of the 3 cores die for Crossfire. The gold lead basically upended in favor of AGN, all because the Juggernaut's Omnislash hit into the creep wave.
He went for Trent, didn't get Trent, then Trent's like, okay, Overgrowth, you can bounce on the creeps for a bit, and then we'll kill you right on after, which is perfect for AGN. They're going to take these kills every single time you can get it, and TCG, he didn't have to be there. He's been farmed the entire time and recovering.
Yeah, and now speaking of recovery, we might see the Spectre finally start to boost up the net worth a bit and approach some of those key timings. Do we still go for Radiance here?
That's a good question. That was what I was about to ask you. Is it too greedy? It would be fantastic. You would love the Radiance, but how much time are you going to be given to get it? Not much, because you're just going to die right now bottom. Uh-oh. Xavier's kept back. TCG alive. We're good. Spectre didn't die. But dive straight to
the Radiance is undeniably the strongest kind of item you can get on Spectre right now, so not getting it would require some pretty special circumstances that I just don't see here. Meanwhile,
between 3, he's gone. Melted down and out of here.
Yep. It's just such a typical play from Crossfire.
Wherever Booty Loot has shown up, he's just constantly being melted. He seems like, is it because it's the easiest kill in the map, really?
I don't think so. Oh.
Mid tower finally going to go down. Can't really stop it.
I saw the living armor got that. Must be like low rank living armor, because that barely slowed them down at all.
3 points, actually.
Oh, okay.
So much damage.
It's just the sheer Yeah, the sheer physical prowess of their team. Of course, Living Armor, now a permanent buff, but had its effectiveness slightly, well, not a permanent, but a non-charged buff, but had its potency slightly reduced. Seeing the effects of that now here as they try to make some sort of play. This looks lively. Signs of life from AGN as they move bottom. This clockwork hook shot going to mean a lot.
Radiant's bottom tower
X isn't being used, just trying to pressure this tower up. They've got everybody in position, including Farnsworth, who's come down to help. Well, I guess kill anybody who responds here, but nobody's going to do it. They're going to leave that tower. They don't want to fight it. They're happy to leave it because it's space for Bowsu, it's space for River, it's space for basically everybody just to farm up their items. So Crossfire, they're not feeling pressured by that.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty much similar to how the map did last game, and Crossfire equally unfazed by the idea of giving up a tier 1 hero there, as they continue to farm all top 3 last hit positions on theirs, side of the divide, all 3 networks as well. Very strong position.
Hook a little bit off the mark, not feeling great, but yeah, Farnsworth's getting some space. Oh no, Farnsworth, he's got to go. He's got to go fast because Andros is going for the creep wave. Safety first. He can't kill Melina yet.
Yeah.
And to point out as well, Spectre is going for the Radiance.
Okay, well that mystery is decided, and like I said, I think that's the right call. I think if you pick the Spectre hero, you pick it to build a Radiance, and unless it's like 30 minutes and you haven't even got the parts yet, you may as well just build into Radiance, even if it's a minute or two slower, because you will make that time back up, and there's an intangible factor that comes with being able to burn people down just by being alive, right? It's just easy, guaranteed damage.
It's just damage over time. Miss chance always great with the dispersion. You love it. It's one of the Spectre's best items. I don't know if you would throw it up if you have the chance, but right now they got a chance to kill Booty Loot. They see him, they catch him, they lasso him, they pull back in, that Sinister Gaze through and make it 3. Nice blade mail, but it's not going to save your life.
Man, Xavier is just such a player. Look at him single-handedly just reeling in these difficult situations and setting up the kills, and not small kills either.
No, they are massive kills themselves. Just always actually finding Booty Loot. He just seems to be in that position. It does mean he's dying and nobody else is, though.
Yeah, but we already discussed how difficult it is to come back from behind with these sorts of heroes. Death Prophet definitely in that camp. Hero that really wants to be ahead so that those ghosts can be effective, because she doesn't have that much else going for her. And, I mean, if you kind of surrender this position, then you're going to end up doing nothing at all. The timer is running out for AGN, I feel like, already, despite this Spectre.
Well, we'll see how long they can keep it off. They got 4 minutes on a bounty for Lina, so Lina's not showing her face anywhere in the lanes. But really, Crossfire don't need to show their face either. They've got control of AGN's jungle. They've got some good positioning for Roche if they want to take it. They can take the top tier 2 as well. Everything in the game is going Crossfire's way.
Yeah, the one positive that I'd say is that as the game is hard, is actually getting a little bit of farm going, which might lead to one of those important items we discussed earlier, like the Meteor Hammer, or maybe a Blink Dagger for more potent team fighting.
Yeah, we'll see which way it goes. It seems to be both items are fantastic in this game because, oh, actually, looks like we've found somebody. Xavier's got the lasso on who? Oh, it's Farnsworth. He's claiming the bounty too, but this is giving an opportunity for DP to fight, but he's between 4. Clockwork comes in. We're actually going to get back with the Horn on top. Is enough damage? No. We've lost ourselves 2. Rivery will go down. TG does claim it. He's actually going on back line too. Chain Frost bouncing back and forth, but it is done. And with another strike to keep the game's heart back, but can they get any more? Xavier running back to hide between the trees will be able to TP out. Same with Andros running back. They decided to go for Xavier, but the Blink Dagger's going to keep him safe, and they can't keep up the Spirit Breaker. But the fight got them a Viper. The kill was done by Spec, so she gets the gold, and all you lost was a Lina and a DP, and if it is a 4v1 draft, maybe that's good enough.
I'd always want to aim a little bit higher than losing, 2 important hero units, but like you'll take it, right? This Spectre, as long as she keeps trucking along, the hopes are alive for AGN. So, and I'm interested to see this Clockwork progress as well.
Interesting to see as well. She did, I believe, buy out a Yasha in between, so she didn't go straight for the Radiance. A little bit extra stats to make sure she can at least do something in a fight.
Yeah, that seems very necessary as we move towards the sort of definite mid-game phase, and everyone is expected to pull their weight in the team fights. Booty Loot, still trying to get towards that Yule Scepter, very important item right now. Okay, so We've got this Booty Loot Death Prophet building her way towards a Yule Scepter, it looks like. We mentioned before in the pre-game how that would be an effective counter to Andros on the Barathrum. Is there anything else that you think the DP might benefit from grabbing as they now smoke, it looks like?
Well, I mean, whenever you play DP, you're going for what? BKB, Ag Scepter, Yule Scepter, survivability items, but Booty Loot probably hasn't had the game plan that he wanted. Maybe a Medallion, a Soul Crest, using that physical advantage and Exorcism does break. Oh, nice.
Yeah, as we see now with more aggression from Crossfire, they will not be stopped.
Oh, that is not good. This train is going to keep on rolling, and Clockwork's going to be hit by it. 30 seconds away from him. Does have buyback, but that is even more space, more pressure for Crossfire to bring on the AGN.
Well, Crossfire is so big brain there that they just intentionally disarmed one side of the Clockwork columns by walking into them so that Andros could then charge through and hit the clock. Or is that just coincidence?
Dire's bottom tower.
No,
I'm going to say they're really smart.
100% plan. Yeah, sounds about.
They deserve our respect at this point.
Dire's bottom tower.
But mid lane will at least be defended. They're not going to be able to get their opportunity to take a tier 2 yet. The positioning from Bouncy, though, he's pressuring that tier 2 bottom. May be able to take that tower himself. The Mask of Man is being used, but still. AGN still feeling a bit of a back foot. They do miss their hook, which could have been a potential kill for Bouncy, but they will find himself Booty Loot again. Never strike to run away. They've already got Spirit Vessel in the way. Mal pops.
Pops the Exorcism
going. But what can he find? He's got creeps.
Okay.
That's
right.
not feeling great. I mean, he did need a farm. He's a little bit behind, so maybe that's what he wanted to do the entire time. Oh, no. Booty Loot. Found out, lassoed and taken out. Balsu found out. Straight's going to burn him back, bring it back to the team. Oh, boy. It's gone from bad to worse. Farnsworth can't seem to find an opening to do anything in this game.
No, last time it was the laning phase of the puck that completely shut Farnsworth out. I mean, this game, again, it was similarly brutal, but on top of that, these single target ultimates are just destroying these kind of fragile cores. It's a real problem for Lena. As fast as she can move with Fiery Soul, she has a pretty bad turn speed. She has to stop to cast her spells quite regularly, so it's a sitting duck at those moments for things like Omni Slash or Lasso.
Seems to be just feeding up these kills here, but at least, I don't know, it's only a 10k gold lead. They've still got 2 towers up. Spectre's still hitting creeps. It's feeling still alright for AGN. Not completely the end of the world. The Radiance is coming. 2,000 gold towards the Sacred Relic and we 1,300 on top of that. That's doable.
Yeah, we're already past the sort of good or preferred timing for the Radiance, but if you can get it before 25 minutes, which looks eminently doable, then it'll be just an okay or mildly poor Radiance.
And Yule Scepter is complete on Farnsworth, so they've got ways to make plays. They've got disables, they've got options. So maybe the high ground defense is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to wait, they can set that up, but might also be worth attacking some of these turrets while they're split up and farming. Viper is alone in the bottom lane right now, although the Spirit Breaker charge looks like that's making a kill happen. No, Farnsworth is away, see?
Got movement speed. We're good.
Thanks, Yule Scepter.
It's all safe. Spectre has literally not been bothered the entire time, so this is all part of the plan for AGM.
Right.
Do you think maybe Crossfire just go back and get Roche and then force this, or are they feeling still comfortable if they leave it a little bit later?
I mean, I think they'll probably just force it, right? It took them a very long time to go back to the Roshan in game
Xavier,
one. So
what a mistake! Game start did bad. Oh,
wow.
Man.
What a tactical pause that was.
Woo! Xavier in the air too. He's not even going to land. He's just stuck in space.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like there's a significant pause happening at this awkward moment. So take a spot in the middle of the match to take a break and discuss how things are going so far. Who's your sort of presumptive MVP for the match?
Right now, it seems Xavier is making all the plays that he needs to make. He's been able to make all the space at Crossfire and dictate the game. But really, we will actually cut to a break. We'll be back in a couple minutes with the game started. We're just in a quick pause and we'll be right back with you with the action here at LPL Season 2. We'll see you after this short break. And we are back after that short break, folks. We're back with the best Dota. Crossfire AGN, they're still going for it. They've still got their teams going, and the action pack is about to start up again. How are we thinking that AGN are going to be faring with their game?
Look, after game one, you have to think they're being tested right now. Their sort of emotional fortitude. They took one tough loss, and then game two kind of started out almost an eerie mirror of that first game. So now it's a real crossroads for them. Can they bring it back? Can they correct their mistakes? Or will they kind of end up suffering kind of the same loss twice in a row?
Yeah, but it seems like they do need to make the plays to bring it back. Crossfire still feeling comfortable in their game situation. I don't think there's too many mistakes we can really point to.
Crossfire is just a machine at this point. I mean, we're talking about how they are sort of the epitome of consistency as a team, and they're delivering again this game. Xavier, you know, we mentioned, never really takes a break, but there is the X factor for AGN this time in terms of the spec. They did not have that late game weapon in game one, and as you mentioned, the Radiance timing is going to come within acceptable limits, so they can kind of transition to playing around that at this point.
That's true. And while we've got a moment, while we've got the high-core LPL stream going, a little bit of pause and a break, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors. We'd like to Conquer, our monitor sponsor, for sponsoring this season of the tournament. Bring the great games to you with some great monitor hardware. It's always fantastic to see these technology companies helping support just Australian Dota in the scene.
Yeah, why would you not watch the best quality Dota on the best quality monitor, right? So it makes all the sense in the world. Thanks, of course, to the support of Conquer, helping us deliver this season of LPL and more great games like this one. This is only the first match of the first day of this season. Many more to come, including tomorrow night, starting same time, so 6:30 AEST, I believe 8:30 New Zealand time. That'll be Team Oracle AU up against Internal Discord. But for now, game two, AGN still have a fighting chance as the team fight erupts.
Nice done. They've actually got Xavier, but Andros, he's found Farnsworth in the back. They have to cancel and never strike away from Andros. Andros is going to die. Xavier is being burning. Game is hard, but the kills are actually coming. Guys, rates will be traded. Booty Loot is still alive. Game's hard is still alive himself too, but Xavier is going to go down. The Laguna Blade comes in and finally cuts down the Batrider. But it's the Omni/Bowsu finding the heroes in the back line, getting TG, but they're all still alive. They just shared the damage. Fnatic get the control onto Bowsu. The stun is good. He's out of mana, and the kills are coming. AGN are doing it. Rivery is one hard mountain to climb, but can they do it? They have 4 heroes stunning it. It's so low. The Desolate damage, and they've got it.
Is it happening? Is it happening, GTH?
It's happening.
Wow.
Oh man.
Okay.
With to say, what can they do to come back? That is what they can do.
It feels like Booty Luke just took like his first giant gulp of air maybe in this whole series. Just kind of got his boot stuck right in there, and now he's alive again, fighting on this Death Prophet. And we were saying how this hero doesn't come back very well, but he looked strong in that fight. Maybe they just couldn't get the focus
he just
on.
Didn't die straight away. Yeah, they didn't focus him. He was alive. He could do the damage. He had the skill set to keep himself alive as well.
Radiant's middle tower.
I think this is probably only the second bad engagement of any size to see from Crossfire, and the common factor I think is the Omni Slash. That Omni Slash split across 3 fairly healthy heroes. No one even really dropped a critical health from it, and Crossfire just didn't seem to have the same momentum after that as it had been had. Oh, unfortunate for game is hard.
Yeah,
surviving veteran
that's space
on like 10 health, but yeah, it dies there.
Yeah. It's the least base. Like, we're getting items again now. Aetherlane's up onto Lena, so even more cast range to go. They've got the Manta done on TCG, so he can purge off a few debuffs if he wants to. Things aren't looking as bad as they were just before.
Yeah, the Aetherlane's particularly important on Lena this game. Obviously, just a terrific item on the hero all around. It makes the stun much more reliable, makes her generally safer in the fights. But when you're trying to counteract this Spirit Breaker charge, right, with your Yule Scepter, that extra range equates to an extra reaction time you have. And Lena's turn speed is pretty low, so being able to whip around and target that Yule's on the charging SB, very strong.
As long as you can see it. If they get the surprise initiation from Andros, it might go the other way, but we're at least seeing a little bit of hesitation from Crossfire right now. They're not just completely running at them.
I mean, that's just good Dota, right? Like, sure, okay, maybe you felt like you were strong with that last fight. You might want to say, oh, we just hit a bad ultimate. They got lucky. Lots of heroes lived on low hit points. We can just, you know, if you run the simulation a second time, maybe Crossfire stomped that fight, and so they just want to go back in. But they have no reason to force it. They're still up 9k gold. I mean, there's a Spectre here for AGN, but we can see she's actually deviated away from the Radiance in order to take that fight and now committed to the Manta style, as you said, going more of a stats and fighting build. That means that it's going to be easier for Crossfire to keep pace with her on the Juggernaut and the Viper. So kind of back to the stalemate that we had before.
Are fortified.
Seems a little bit rough. Bouncing back to hitting those towers. He's got a man to complete himself. Going for the mole near, being kept back by Farnsworth. Do they really want to take the fight if they are AGN here? Who do they want to push this? Because Bouncer, he's playing like Bouncer. He's playing aggressive. They're going to silence him, meteor hammer up the tower to keep him back, but it doesn't seem like they're stopping him.
Yeah, he's pretty hard to stop, right? Like, that's sort of the reason you pick Juggernaut. He's a very slippery carry. Or Titan Sliver, drop for the Dire, very strong item. I imagine that's going to go to the spec, but we'll see, I guess. But yeah,
So.
Balsu is not dominating this game like he has before.
5-5-4, a little bit of 7-7-7 on Booty Loot, all the even way. And in fact, that's actually a winning. That's a winning draw if that came out. So maybe he's feeling good about this. He's got luck on his side.
Well, let's see if it pays out for AGN, huh?
Hell yeah. He's hit the jackpot, but maybe they're going to hit something here. Everyone's just back on their side of the map. So space. Space is back.
Up their
Space
neutral
to
items really fast. You gotta remember these neutral item timings have come to dominate Dota since they're implemented, so everyone's seeing what iStrong's little lottery got them, seeing whether they get a winning payout. Seeing some pretty good ones drop, of course, the Titan Shot as well as the Telescope, very strong team items, both Crossfire and AGN. Now a charge from Andros. Pinging with
He's gonna reach him way early though.
Dire are scared.
Can they get there in time? They knew it. Andrew's going to place connection and wait. Sans is there and he's dead. He's gone. He's out of here. What? He's gone. But Xavier's fighting. He's got the lasso. He's found Farnsworth. We're going to be yield up instantly. He got some more control. The Horse is going to be there fighting Xavier, but the overgrowth is big. The Omni Slash is massive, but the mini hammer isn't going to land. They're melting out Booty. They've already got Dire Straits, and it looks like TCG's Blade Mail is going to be doing a bit of damage, but you just wait a couple seconds, and then you hit him just as hard. Oh, his dagger movement is gone, but he's got a Mantle who's going to play. He's not going to be able to do it. Farnsworth is melting. The pings are coming, but will he die? No, Yule Scepter. We're good. Maybe he can run from this one. No, Xavier from out of nowhere. Actually, he's going to be... Oh, Farnsworth, my man. He stands his ground, but he will die in the end.
If he managed to get that kill and live, that would have been like a real heroic effort. Maybe even saved that team fight in my eyes. But unfortunately, it does get picked off by the Viper, so... Pretty hard to sell that one for AGN. They had a good... Can you call that an initiation? Getting just charged by the enemy Spirit Breaker and killing him? I suppose it is.
It might have been a bait. Maybe they expected it. Angel's like, yeah, I'm just
I mean, it was. It was an expert bait by Andros. You can only look at the teamfight results and say, my God, what a great job he did baiting AGN into taking that fight. But I mean, it's just kind of like a brute force thing, right? Like we saw the Omni Slash and the Chain Frost kind of be half effective. There were other targets, creeps there. Most of them bounced around, but it did enough damage that they got over the line. And I mean, that's kind of what I expected out of the last team fight. It really makes you question how AGN managed to fluke that team fight win in the first place and whether it's something they can even replicate.
Well, we'll have to find on out because 25-18, 11k goal lead, 30 minutes in. We've still got the time on our side if we are a Spectre, but then Rivery, he's not slowing down at all. He's got his BKB, he's gone for the Soul Crest. It looks like he's here for business. And, you know, maybe you just hit this tier 2, go to high ground, and you don't care what AGN want to do because you're just going to drag it to you. Ludwig being found, can't even get the play mail. He does get Yule Step to Omni Touch, will be wasted, but he's gone anyway. He's gone. He's out of here. 50 seconds worth of buyback. Did he use Exorcism?
Yeah.
Teeping in the Treant Protector. Maybe he can do something big. He's got a Meteor Hammer. Channeling it. But I think they know what's up.
Two heroes stunned.
Going down.
Oh, hang on a second.
The dust coming.
Yeah, there it is.
He finds him. Game is hard. Oh, man. He's going to get melted for it. But you got yourself the jug without a buyback. Hell yeah.
Treant dies with a smile on his giant wooden face. He killed a Juggernaut. Kind of. I mean, Lena's Insano ultimate damage killed a Juggernaut, but it was all that Meteor Hammer stun. That's what set it up.
Oh, yeah.
You take those.
That was way value. 50 seconds of space, too. Exactly what you need. Hell yeah.
We almost saw that happen in the last fight as well, I guess, so I shouldn't be so incredulous that it happened, right? Like, Bowser barely lived through the last Laguna play, but this time making sure, and I guess that does present a way to control the Joker going forward. I don't know whether Farnsworth actually has the Aghanim Scepter out yet, but that can control, I say control, I mean kill the Juggernaut through spin, piercing that magic immunity, as well as having that, it's that quiver, that might have made the difference. It's actually another significant nuke attached to that auto attack at giant range, of course, from Lena. As we see people initiate, TP scroll though. Oh, but the second duels.
Yeah, I'm gonna survive that one.
Man, this
it takes you 3.
Off, huh?
It really is. It seems to be a bit later than he wanted to pick it up, but it's just paying off for itself in hell. And he's already got the Shadow Blade, going for the Silver Edge. Oh, I mean, they're going for the Clockwork Mid as well, though, so maybe there's a little kill coming back to their side. That's not bounce back. Dice rates, but he's happy to die. It seems like...
Both teams bullying the enemy supports, really.
Yeah, it seems like that's what the supports are kind of designed to do here. Andros is sitting bottom, messing with the Spec, and Dire Straits are sitting mid, messing with Xavier.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
so it's a 14k gold lead to Crossfire, even if it feels a bit closer, maybe because of, you know, Spec just being Spec. What can we see here to kind of close the gap from AGN?
Radiant's bottom tower is under
I'm gonna say not an Aegis.
Yeah, giving up Roshan doesn't sound like a great start.
Nope.
Can they kill Baosu twice?
The game is hard, might die though. He's been found out. Andros is coming on in, but sends him down.
no.
Vision on him and take the tree out. Overgrowth already used, and yeah. I mean, it takes them a couple more seconds, but they're gonna get you anyway.
Did they have a gem, or did he just actually not take the talent?
No, he's got a talent. He just showed himself for a sec, and then that's kind of what
Oh,
happens.
they have a sentry down. Yeah, okay. But remember, I didn't see the usual effect on the tree. And of course, for those who maybe haven't played Dota recently or haven't looked at Tree recently, you know, always famous for being invisible in trees, but nowadays it's sort of a mid to late game talent you must take. And some games the tree may not be invisible at all, but in the end, it just shows how Crossfire are prepared for everything. Dropping that vision immediately to kill Game is Hard, who has been playing pretty well. I think this has been a good training game. Hard to fold into what's happening.
It has. He's kept these lanes pushed out. He's done his job.
All right, so we're seeing them now advance towards the base.
Yeah, pushing on up, bouncing, not even scared. Level 21, feeling strong. Nice little stun coming out from... Oh, but there you go, Yul Scepter. Oh! Actually, Luna's going to be pulled back in with the lasso. Can't even save him with that one. The sun's going to be there for Baosu, but he's got the Aegis, so he'll be fine. They've got to buy back on the Lena. He can't actually use it, but they're actually holding in. Dire Straits getting melted down between all the fire damage they've got. Here we go, buyback's coming in. Maybe a little bit too late. Lena's still holding hers, and there we go. She's in with it too, but so is Crossfire. In your base, that is. BKB, popped by Rivery, chase it on down. Actually going to get the Hurricane Pike back, and woo! We haven't lost to tier 3, but we might lose ourselves in Aegis, maybe. Cogs off the mark, can't keep him in place, and Bounce is going to be spinning back to safety.
Crossfire make it cleanly out of the base there. They didn't destroy any buildings, but they did do economic damage. 2 buybacks, including the Lena, forced out, and that must be a very bitter pill for Farnsworth there. Killed before he could even pop the Aegis by that Batrider lasso, and then forced to spend more gold, send himself further back behind in this game. Really hurts your ability to control calls like Baosu.
It does, and you really wanted that Silver Edge. You really wanted to break the passive on Viper just to make sure he dies. And now you're not going to be able to get it because you forced out these buybacks, you forced the gold lead even more further in Crossfire's favor. Maybe you bought time, but is it enough?
It may be or it may not be, but we might have to find out after a short break that we are looking to go to. So this game is really pulling on the two teams at least delivering on a tense battle, more so than the first game where AGN kind of fell apart. But you can see that the grind that Crossfire are leveling now, just pressure mounting minute on minute, and these heroes starting to fall a bit behind in their items. It seems like it is going to come down to this Spectre one way or the other if TCG can kind of just outmuscle the entirety of Crossfire in the late game.
I guess we'll see. The time is ticking. Game of Silence back to doing what he does best, pushing out the top lane, keeping all pressured in. In fact, Crossfire, they're all heading towards him because, hell, it gets annoying after a while to always have one creep wave pushed into your tower.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is something we speculated on right back at the start of the game, that this is what the Treant would do with his items, and now it's finally come to pass. Game is Hard is going to try and make the game hard for his opponents with that constant Treant split push.
But I guess we'll have to find out how AGN really do pull it back after a short break. It shouldn't be too long of a break, just fixing up a few technical issues inside the game. But still, it's an action-packed game. They're bringing the team fights, they're bringing the action, everything we wanted.
Absolutely. In fact, the break's so short that it's already over, seemingly. We're back again. Game is Hard, unpausing, and now we'll see whether he can survive the onslaught as the Radiant finally go to squash this pest, this Treant. Have to find him first, though, as we mentioned, invisible in his native trees. And all this is buying space, you know? TCG is farming somewhere.
That is true. TCG is eventually going to be hitting a creep to get
Game is Hard to be so cheeky, yeah. Walked right up to the Lich and thought about Meteor hammering that wave. He thought about it.
But, you know, while we have a little bit of a reprieve in the action of this game, I'd like to take an opportunity just to thank another sponsor for the LPL Season 2 for 2020, WD Black, who did sponsor us last season, brought us the first season of LPL. They're bringing us the second season as well, so I'd like to thank them for their high-quality hard drive hardware, bringing us the best games. And speaking of games, we're going to find ourselves the action. Barrett has found himself booty loot again. Oh, the ANZ is going to pop, but I don't think it's survived. No, gone. 3 heroes between you. You are out of here, and so is your tier 3 that you did heal because you have a tree protector, but you're not going to keep it up. Farnsworth, he's getting tipped. Oh, it's because he's in the bottom lane and he can't join this fight. He's trying to push, but they're taking the racks. They're taking the towers. How do you kick him out without a Lina? Without a Spectre who wants to fight?
I mean, I don't know. They're going to have to find a way, though. Bowser still has this Aegis, and he has the Mask of Madness.
And almost in a bit fight. It's hard. They can't do anything. It's done. Sacrifice another lane of racks. You have 1 lane of racks. Oh,
here they go.
I say that, but there we go. Cogs are good. Bowser's been caught, but it is the Aegis. I remember about that, but Bowser's just hitting him down. What are we doing? A best play comes in just in time, but Rivery, he will go down. He finally gets picked on up. That's a kill for a kill, but Xavier's got his own BKB. He's looking for a spec if he can. Bowser's spinning away. Doesn't the Aegis if he does pop a TCG. Gonna get burnt on down, but Barrett Ryder gonna be trying to take the leader as well. The Jane Frost's gonna be falling back into the Sinister Case. TCG will be able to make it to the high ground. They've missed that chance, but the last back off cooldown, and oh no. Xavier's out of here. Oh, that's done. Thank God. But Andros is coming. Does he help him? No, he gave up. He's good. We're good.
Almost committed a real felony there, escaping after that a secondary kill. But the leader's done, clears the vision for the Yules to cancel the TP. It's sort of a Pyrrhic victory, though, and you see all the damage that this Batrider has wrought. I assume that Xavier is getting left off the Booty Loot Christmas card list this year.
Oh yeah, no. He's not getting. He's getting coal. Just a whole bunch of coal.
He's killed this Death Prophet just so many times.
I have no more words left to say. So it's like whenever I say the name Xavier, it's connected to booty loot. That's how bad it is.
We just assume, you know, he's making an example out of this offlane Death Prophet right now, and even like. Booty Loot can't even really do anything else in terms of itemization apart from maybe a Lincoln Sphere, but you know, I'm sure the Batrider have a way to pop it. They can just get the charge to pop it from across the map if they're coordinated. And other than that, you know, you've already got the Blade Mail, you've already got the Yules, already got the Aeon Disc, and you're still dying at the start of every fight.
Oh, Andros has been found though. Someone's not going to be able to run away, but he's got a BKB. Like he's just got a BKB.
I think everyone on Crossfire has a BKB.
Oh man,
where's the Lich BKB?
Even Toe.
It's coming. Tower is under attack.
He won't buy 1 sentry until he gets it. But for what it's worth, again, as we always point out, the TCG is still farming. Tobes is still feeling comfortable. Game is hard. He's even got more aggressive as the game got even more difficult. Look how far down he is.
Yeah, absolutely. He understands that he's pulled out all the stops. They're down a lane of racks now, and before this, it was always like, well, we'll play for the late game. We've still got time, but you know, once you start losing racks, that kind of kills your future.
There's your gem.
Did not stop buying sentries.
Nope.
Oh, Batrider actually has a gem. My apologies, Xavier with the gem.
Well,
they have finally picked one up. Okay, but still.
Oh, Bowser's just
no, the on slash.
What?
Oh, that's a dive.
And TG comes in to actually take the Omni Slash.
Oh,
he's got to just survive. He's got his Blade Mail's doing the damage. Bowser's actually going to be caught the X in between 2 heroes right now, but they need to be able to take him down. Isn't enough. They've already got. Even Bowser, he's dead. Maybe a bit of a chew. Spectre needs to get back, but doesn't have a Haunt to get back here. The Chain Fox is just melting down. There's your Aeon, but you lost Clockwork, and DP is gone. He's broken. He's dead. And with a Yule Scepter, we're buying the time, but he is out of here too. 4 dead. Spec survives. Bowser dead?
Spectre's not tanky enough. You need to be able to stick in those fights. It's the hero's whole reason for being, is to stick around and you outlast everybody, but not in this game, not this Spectre. She just can't quite tangle with the Radiant lineup, and I mean, yeah, it was good that they got the kill on the Juggernaut. Bowser maybe sticking around to celebrate his victory a bit too long, but that first Omni Slash, just opening up and instantly killing Farnsworth without buyback, is so hard to come back from the fight.
And TCG coming in with the Haunt as well, just to say hey, and then he gets Omni Slash at the end.
Yeah, we could have held that, like, very slightly longer. I suppose you're trying to like tank the Omni for your Lina perhaps, but yeah, just very unfortunate timing. And I mean, the Juggernaut just having picked up that, you know, enough damage items, you're really getting to that point. I almost thought to see have a Rapier, but just an Orb of Destruction and a bunch of strong late game items. No, not yet.
Not yet.
I think maybe more AGN are the Rapier team at this point, right? You're going to be getting desperate to do something.
Well, yeah, TCG is going for the Abyssal Blade himself, so he's still looking for the potential kills. Farnsworth is still feeling a little bit behind, but he's building the Lincoln Sphere, so he'll be able to survive one lasso. But then again, you did point out, you just timed the Spirit Breaker charge, and there goes your Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, I'm not always a big proponent of the charge, like when people point that out, because charge is not a short cooldown, and it is like, that's your team fight stun, as we just see Reverie like scooping up piles of precious tier 4 items off the ground. But yeah, it's like if you use charge pop with Lincoln Sphere, that's a real cost. On the other hand, if you're doing it for a lasso initiation, that's worthwhile. And you're usually pulling them in from so far away that there may not always even be a chance for the enemy to retaliate and kind of punish you for not having your charge up. So this is an ideal situation.
Oh no, Booty Loot, they've smoked up, but they've found Booty Loot. Andros is coming in, they know the smoke is there. Here we go, we're gonna actually get the Horn coming in, the X-Gen's gonna pop, Dire Straits is moving on in, but BKB's gonna be popped. Andros popped his own BKB, trying to focus down on Booty Loot, but he's gonna be moving back to safety. But it's the Omni Suction back to focus down TCG, they've got the fear, they've got a Spectre. TCG, he does get himself a little bit of HP with the lamp, but it can't save him forever, he's gone. Does have a buyback if he wants to use it though, but no Horn to get back on in. The chain box bouncing, Spectre's buying back. Lena's gonna get some more damage though, but Clockwork is dead too, does have a buyback. All the buybacks being committed to take this fight. Bowser on the high ground just fighting Booty Loot again. He's bashed, so he can't use his Yule Scepter to save him for a couple more seconds, so he's dead. And a charge free, but they get the Aegis. Farnsworth steals it, does get dusted. Gamers are put on the high ground to safety, but they will blink up, just trying to find him. Xavier going to be pulling back to the lower ground. Farnsworth going to be trying to TP, but with the Abyssal Blade, they're going to pop that Aegis. Leader being caught. Gamers are just surviving for now, but he is dead. And Farnsworth, I don't think he's survived much longer. 100 seconds. Die back onto him, close but not quite close enough. Oh man, it's looking rough. It's looking like this is high ground. This might be just mega creeps.
Yeah, Bowser is just getting so strong, and TCG can't keep up. I mean, look, the decision to build stat items instead of the Radiance and pivot, they won a team fight right after, and maybe that was what they needed to stay in the game. But it meant that, you know, we were kind of hoping that by now TCG would have really outstripped Bowser in farm, and Bowser hasn't had a flawless game, but the lack of map control for the Dire and the fact that the Spectre hasn't really gone with the optimal farming build has meant that we aren't seeing the dominance you'd normally expect out of the hero at this point. It's costly.
It is costly, and well, it seems like it's going to cost them a mid-racks at least, maybe not more, but then again, 90 seconds, 50 seconds, they are some long death timers, and they've got a lot of damage on the side of Crossfire. Okay, there's
Crossfire, they are not the most patient team. They're going for the throne.
Nope.
Immediate buyback.
Got a blind buyback. Gonna scare him. But still, they can get the Megas.
No, not really. Bowser back on the throne. He wants to end this game.
Don't scare the man. He's got places to beat. In fact, Andros got places to beat. Charges straight in, Dire Straits in the back. TG trying to do damage, but there you go. Meteor Horn, a little bit extra HP. Has Ag Scepter. 5-second charges whenever you want them, delivered straight to you. And Dire Straits, he's trying to limp his way back into the fountain of safety in game 2. It is looking done. Same with TCG. Nice hook for you. Hook straight into Andros. And man, all three of them destroyed. Game 2 going straight to Crossfire.
Yeah, AGN really stuck it out. They fought well, they fought hard, won some team fights from very difficult positions, but in the end, you don't get points for any of that. On the board, it's just a straight 2-0 Crossfire. Dominant as always.
Absolutely feel like the team we all know them to be. Still dominant in every position, still dominated in the drafts, and absolutely dominated AGN. Game 2 was, well, I would say a bit of a better performance from AGN, but still, it was all Crossfire all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. The Crossfire drafts as well kind of gave them an edge. I mean, I like that AGN experimented. They've always seemed to be a team willing to test themselves in these interesting drafts. But game 1, they just lacked some of the elements of a pushing lineup and to convert that. And then oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I'd say that does mean a 2-0 start to Crossfire in this season, so I'm pretty sure if we see the leaderboards, they're going to be right on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense, right? As well as, oh, of course, FFYV2, who were, if you missed it earlier, the team that benefited from a forfeiture in our first match of the night.
Sigma, unfortunately, they couldn't turn up for the game, so they start on top of the board. So good start for both Crossfire and FFYV2. We do know that Crossfire can bring it in their game series, though, but we still have to see what FFYV2 can do when it comes into the Dota match.
Yeah, that'll be something to look forward to in next week. We see them effectively make their debut already on top of the board, but we do have more matches coming up tomorrow night at our normal match time of 6:30 AEST. We've got Oracle AU versus Internal Discord. Those are two teams we're very familiar with in the LPL. And then Toons Reborn versus Neat Uprising in a real tough test for this new Toons Reborn squad.
Yeah, we'll see how they go. Two top-tier teams really bringing the top games tonight, so I am excited for the Dota games tonight, but we do actually have to thank the sponsors again just for bringing us the great series tonight. WD Black sponsoring us, Vodafone, always great sponsoring us as well. Kanoka bringing us a great quality hardware, and the New Zealand Defence Force, always thankful for them bringing us this great Oceanic Dota esports experience.
Of course, there's no tournaments without sponsors, and we're grateful to them. But we're also grateful to the players and to you for tuning into this stream. Hopefully, it's the start of a long association. This tournament still has a lot of weeks to run in this round-robin phase, and we have not yet begun to see the depths of the Dota these teams can display. So even as we sign off on night 1 of LPL Pro League, a great, vast expanse of Dota awaits us.
That's right. It means we're going to be